huge day of preseason action coming up here, and we're ready to absolutely smash it all out. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport, we are live as the Cronulla Sharks will be taking on the Canberra Raiders here in a double header that will be at Polytech Stadium in Gosford. The later game is between the Roosters and the Eels, and then the game after this is the Storm versus the Premiership winning Gold Coast Titans at Sunshine Coast Stadium on the Sunshine Coast. It's a big day here. Obviously, all three games are full of just NRL talent for at least the first half, as we saw like last night with the Tigers and Panthers games, and also the Warriors and the Dolphins. We saw the first teams play the entirety of the first half, and then they filtered out through the next 10 minutes, if they even came back on in the second half. And then they filtered out through the 10 minutes to start the second half, before obviously the second half just ended up becoming reserve grade teams for the most part. But we had a great game yesterday where the Tigers, they were down 12-10 at half time, but they were able to come back and win that one 26-12. Obviously a lot of context there, but the Tigers looks good in the first half regardless, being down just by 2 to an absolutely fantastic start out of the Panthers team. And then the Warriors-Dolphins game, look, we've still got those concerns, man. I do. I've still got those concerns in regards to the Dolphins and their defense. They're still giving up a bucket load of points. They were down 18-10 at halftime to the Warriors, who do usually struggle with the attack. But they're down 18-10 at halftime and ended up winning at 38-34, but they scored 3 tries in the last 5 minutes there of the game to actually win that one. Overall, though, that was when the reserve grade teams were on. So a lot of concerns and nerves there for the Dolphins, and some positive signs there from the Warriors in the first half. But now we've got this game here today between the Sharks and the Raiders, where both these teams are coming off of completely different round one preseason vibes. The Raiders obviously beat the Melbourne Storm 32-6 with largely inexperienced sides there last week, and then the Sharkies, they got pumped 40-6 by the Parramatta Eels, but the Eels played a pretty strong side, not full strength, but a pretty strong side, and the Sharks played literally nobody. All right, so last week isn't really anything to go off there for the Sharks, and a little bit for the Raiders, you know, like in their team. They still had a couple of names. Chevy Stewart's played a bit. Savelio Tamale will feature for them all year long. Dane Laurie is super experienced. Paddy will feature for them. Matty Nicholson and Sebastian Chris was there. He had a great game in that second half when he did come on. But you guys know how big a fan I am of Sebastian Chris. So, look, the Raiders did have a decent couple of plays in, but overall it was a reserve grade team, and the Storm played pretty much nobody themselves. Whilst today, like I said, they're both pretty much full strength. But let's get into these two team lineups. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. We have 4 streams today. So we're going to be here for Sharks Raiders, and then we'll be here for Roosters Eels, then we'll be here for Storm Titans. And then we have a massive game tonight in the Super 8s of the T20 World Cup between New Zealand and Pakistan. I actually didn't end up streaming that Australia versus Oman game last night because I just feel the Australian team right now is full of politics. I feel like it's complete bullshit, with Steve Smith being flown over to not even feature. So they brought him over as an emergency, and then he didn't even get to play in the game. We obviously know that he would have been very impactful in the games that he would have played, and we do know that Steve Smith should have been in that team over a couple of guys like Gib Connolly and probably Cameron Green, but I'd say less so Cameron Green, because they do have so much belief in him. But obviously, when does that belief come to an end? Anyway, we'll talk about cricket later on the New Zealand versus Pakistan stream, which is a big game. But that's the reason I didn't stream Australia versus Oman. I thought, look, I'd already done 3 games yesterday. We did the World Club Challenge, and we did the 2 preseason. I'd been up since 1 a.m. I just wasn't going to sit through it. A game that was always going to be easy for Australia, and they obviously easily won, but it just meant nothing because the selection has just been so poor throughout that World Cup. So that's why I wasn't here yesterday. But all right, let's get into these 2 team lineups for this game. Now, the Sharks on the preseason table, they come into this game from 14th position, whilst the Raiders come in from 4th position. This game is obviously at Polytech Stadium in Gosford. There will be quarter breaks. There will be drinks breaks at the 20-minute mark of each half because of it being so hot in Gosford right now. They were saying that it is absolutely boiling there. Gosford weather currently, well, it's 28 degrees. It said there'll be storm coming up later, but it must be the humidity that they're talking about there. It must be humidity, because 28 degrees isn't exactly outrageous, but they said that it's really hot there anyway, so you know, forget what Google says. I'll take what the people at the ground say. Now, the Sharks, their ins: Adam Fanor, Blake Brayley, Braden Trindle, Britt Nakora, Hohepa Peru, Jesse Colhoun, Jesse Ramian, Kale Iro, Nico Hines, Oregon Kafusi, Sione Katoa, Tuka Hautapua, and William Kennedy. They're all in, with the outs being Alex Challenor, Bradley Fernley, Callum Grantham, Felix Fataili, Jackson Lavender, John Tay Jr., Bethan Missa, Christian Dixon, Nikora Williams, Oliver Lester, Farrell Gray, Sam McCulloch, Thomas Dello, and Xavier Cacciotti. They're all out. So that tells you what the Sharks team was like last week when they got pumped 40-6 to the Eels. Now, the fullback is Will Kennedy. He needs to have a big year this year. It's a contract year. He only signed a one-year extension, so he needs to have a big year this year, Will Kennedy. Wingers of Sione Katoa and Samuel Stone Street. Centres of Jesse Ramian and Kale Iro. Obviously, Mulatalo not here due to a long-term injury. You go to the 5'8", Braden Trinder, with the halfback being Nico Hines. Those halves coming off the back of the Indigenous versus Māori game. And then you go to the front row forwards of the big Adam Fanua-Blake and Thomas Hazelton. Number 9, Blake Brayley, who is the captain. Go to the back row, Britt Nakora and Billy Burns with Jesse Calhoun as the lock. And then the interchange is Sisa Vitalakai, Toby Rudolph, Oregon Kafusi, and Braden Ueli. The reserves, who you will see feature today because it is unlimited interchange in the preseason. Hohepa Peru, Tuka Hautapua, Jaden Beryl, Niva Peru, Riley Jones, Michael Gabriel, Harrison Hassett, Taj Ford, Riley Pollard, and Chris Avila. So unfortunately, Liam Ison must be still injured. Otherwise, he would be getting an opportunity here. It's so disappointing to see, considering that this was looking like a big preseason that he could have had to really knock on the door. But obviously, the injury did come to him. Now, the Sharks are actually the biggest benefit of this adjustment to the State of Origin rules. They are the biggest winners in regards to individual players, maybe not necessarily because they wanted to see their players in Origin, but the Sharks are the biggest because Britt Nakora is now eligible to play for Queensland, and Adam Fanua-Blake is now eligible to play for New South Wales. So they didn't have a single player in Origin last year, not a single player across all the games. Well, now they do. In Fanua-Blake and Nakora is what you would assume, because you would assume both of those guys go straight in there. That's a huge benefit for this team in regards to the growth of and the experience, even though they're very well-experienced players, just playing on that big stage level, because we know this Sharks team, when it gets to the big stage, when it gets to the preliminary finals, when we get to the crunch, they don't turn up. They just don't turn up. And a Sharks fan, if you're upset by me saying that, well, that's a you problem, because you know it's the truth. The Sharks don't turn up when the going gets tough in the finals. So I think that's a really good thing for Britt Nakora and Adam Fanua-Blake to be on the biggest stage, because although we'd love the Rugby League World Cup and we'd love the internationals to be the biggest in the game, it isn't yet, and I don't think it will be, because there is so much passion in Queensland and New South Wales for State of Origin. That is the prime time of the game, so it is a great experience for them. Now, for the Raiders, Ata Mariota, Jaden Brayley, Morgan Smithies, Noah Martin, Simi Sasangi, Xavier Savage, and Zach Hosking are all in, with the outs being Campbell Munn, Jays Twingamala, Kane Anderson, Malachi Smith, and Roman Tuiamau. So this is still a pretty inexperienced Raiders outfit. They've still not got everyone playing. Their fullback is Dane Laurie. The wingers are Savelio Tamale and Xavier Savage. The centres are Simi Sasangi and Sebastian Chris. You go to the 5'8", Ethan Alea, with the halfback Jalen Afamasanga. The forwards are Ata Mariota and Zach Hosking, who is the captain, and the number 9 is Jaden Brayley. You go to the back row of Matty Nicholson and Noel Martin, with the 13 being Morgan Smithies. And the interchange is Owen Paddy, Jed Stewart, Sonny Finau, and Jordan Utah, with the reserves being Chevy Stewart, Mark Tuiali'i, Sean Packer, Miles Martin, Jake Clydesdale, Joe Roddy, Saxon Innes, Braden Darmody, Michael Asamoah, Samuel Hine, and Vena Patuki Kase. This race team still has a whole bunch of players not playing. Kaya Weeks not there, Ethan Strange not there, Ethan Sanders not there, Kobe Black obviously, I believe has been injured. That's why he's not getting an opportunity here in the preseason. We're not seeing Matty Tomoko still. Half their forwards are out. You know, they don't have Hudson Young. They don't have Joe Tarpany, Josh Papali'i. You know, who else are we missing here? Maybe that might be it. But overall, this Raiders team is still not where they would expect to be. So realistically, you should be expecting the Sharks to come through with this. But again, it comes down to the first half for them, because then they'll start taking their players off. But overall, you would expect the Sharks to bounce back from that it lost to the Eels last week with an inexperienced team. And now they've got the advantage of having the more strengthy team over the Canberra Raiders. So I'll tip the Sharks here, but it's just so difficult, man, because there's no point betting on a result in preseason. You know, if you're going to have a bet, then please do it like on a first half or on the when's the first try scored kind of deal. Please gamble responsibly, obviously, but if you're going to do that, don't bet on the preseason, because you will see the entire team change in the second half. You will see completely different games from first half into the second half, which is what we saw in the Panthers versus Tigers, which is what we saw in the Warriors versus the Dolphins, which is what we have seen the entire preseason so far. 10 years ago, you couldn't even watch these games. Now, because they want to get the gambling kickbacks, you can watch these games, and it's now technically a competition. Now, if the Sharks were to win this game, so they're currently, the Sharks are in second last, in 15th position because the Broncos aren't here. Also, I've clarified from the Dingo, he commented on my video saying the reason why the St. Helens Panthers game wasn't in the World Club Challenge list when we were doing the World Club Challenge yesterday was actually because, it was the preseason. So St. Helens got included in the preseason, which meant there wasn't technically a World Club Challenge game, even though that was the World Club Challenge. But they were in the preseason with all the teams. That's why it wasn't on that section of the website. But the Sharkies, they're in 15th with 0 points. They didn't get a single bonus point last week. Clarification for bonus points. You need 5+ line breaks. You need 10+ offloads. You need 5 tries, 5+ tries, and then obviously the win. So 12 points for the win, and then you can get 3 bonus points from the others. So the maximum you can get is 15. That then means the highest the Sharks can really finish in this preseason, provided they got all 15 points, the win and the 3 bonus points, it means that realistically the only chance they can have is at maybe around 6, 7, 8, because the Eels are on 15, Raiders are on 15, Titans are on 15, Dragons are on 15. Dragons have already played both of their games. The Titans play later on against the Storm. The Raiders obviously play the Sharks here, and then the Eels, they play the Roosters right after this. So they'll find out today with those 3 teams. But then there's also Manly and the Rabbitohs who are above them that will play, and one of those 2 teams will stay above them. So realistically, the highest the Sharks can finish here is, 7th, 8th kind of deal, which they'll take up the last week, but also it's the preseason. Who really cares about the table? And the only time you really care about it is if you win it, because at least you get the 100K for your club. So the Sharks, they're not going to be doing too much. Raiders, on the other hand, now they can win the whole preseason with a win here and all 3 bonus points. They're on 15. If they got their 15 overall, 3 bonus points plus the win of 12, they would go into first position above the West Tigers on 29 points. Tigers are just really hoping that the Roosters, the Sharks, and the Storm win today. If the Roosters, the Sharks, and the Storm all win today, or those 3 teams don't get the win plus the 3 bonus points, the Tigers would win the preseason. They would. There's nobody else that could go above them, because they did get that those 2 bonus points last night. Manly on 13, they could get 15 and they'd be on 28. So the Tigers, you are big fans of the Roosters, the Sharks, and the Storm today. But then again, we're all Titans fans at the end of the day, so you can pretend you're a Storm fan, but you all love the Titans because they're going to win the premiership this year. They're never going to lose a game ever again. Might never lose a game ever, damn well, again. So anyway, let's get into the chat. Let's see what you are saying. Raiders, they need to win and get all 3 bonus points. If they get 2 bonus points, they would go equal with the Tigers. They're plus 26. The Tigers are plus 30. So they would just need to win by 4 points or more. They need to win by 5 points. Or just let's go 6 to make it easy. 6 points to go above the Tigers. They're on points differential. So they don't actually necessarily need all 3 bonus points. They just need to win and get 2 bonus points, plus also win by 6 points. 4, they'll go equal with them on points differential. And then I don't actually know how that gets decided then. Is it points 4 that maybe... If it's points 4... No, is it points 4 or points against? Maybe it's points 4 in regards to what they would lean with. I'm not too sure there, to be fair. But guys, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. The game is about to get underway. We're just waiting for the teams to run out onto the field. And let's get into it, son. Let's get into it. Ben says, Mr. BKR, hello, sir. Sean says, good morning, mate. Good call with the T20 game last night. Game over in 10 overs. Yeah, well, we all knew that. But again, there's too much politics involved in Cricket Australia right now with the absolute dribble that was the selection there. There's just too much bullshit going on there. So I'm glad that Australia's out and we'll obviously, hopefully, repiece together and go hard again next time. But, disappointing stuff overall from the Aussies. Everyone says, fasting today, and the best thing to watch when I break my fast is Titans beating Melbourne by 50 and going back to first. Exactly right. Exactly right. Sounds great to me. Sounds fantastic to me. Nate says, Raiders at 350 is worth a punt. G'day, Blaze and fellow trendsetters. Get around the trendsetters. 350. Okay, sure, it's a preseason game, man. But please gamble wisely, lads. I can't stop you from gambling, and I can't stop you from gambling, but please gamble responsibly on preseason games where it is just all over the shop in regards to everything. Arsenal do have a good show, give him. Yes, they do. It's beautiful, mate. It's beautiful. Well, City still need to win against Newcastle tonight, though, and then they'll be within just those cheeky little 2 points. Ooh, Shauno's getting nervous. Oh no, it's all crumbling down in the arse. It's all crumbling down in the arsenal. Vance, I still can't believe a full-strength Dragons team lost to a reserve grade, not reverse grade, reserve grade South team. Like, I know it's only the preseason, but damn, no, that was bad. No, that one was definitely bad. That one from the Dragons' perspective. But you know, we'll see. We'll see how the season does go. Dragons, they have played both of their preseason games. Now they won against the Knights, but you know, how much does that really say overall? I'm actually going to quickly go have a look here at the Dragons start of the year. So they play the Bulldogs. That's a tough one, and then Bulldogs in Vegas, and they play the Storm at home, the Eels away, the Titans away, and then the Cowboys at home, Manly at home. So it's a bit of a mixed bag in regards to difficulty. Bulldogs is tough, Storm is tough, Eels will be tough, Titans I hope is tough, but the Dragons usually beat us. And then they play the Cowboys, which is a little bit of an easier one. But alright, the game has started. The Sharkies will receive the ball, and Will Kennedy is going to bring this ball straight into the line at the 20. Okay, let me refresh this. Let me refresh that little bad boy, and now you've got the live score there. Oh, you've got the merch there in the corner as well for the Sharks and the Raiders. We'll have that for all the games, so you can see what you're chirping about. Third tackle of the Sharks, and they're going to beat the 40. We'll be at the 40. Take Bros says you like and subscribe. Exactly right. Fourth tackle for Cronulla. They're going to be 45 metres out from their own line. I do want to see a very positive game out of Will Kennedy. He's my biggest concern from this Cronulla team. I said Liam Myson will be my breakout, but unfortunately he is injured as we currently speak. He's only signed for 1 year, Kennedy. They've only said, like, despite him being there for a few years, quite a long time, great run and great chase by Jesse Ramian. Wow, smashes him back at the 5. The biggest issue is that he's been there for ages, and yet he only got a 1 year extension, which means the Sharks are pretty confident in what they've got coming through, which would be Liam Myson. And Will Kennedy was so good at the start of last year, but then completely fell off a cliff in the second half and was a big reason as to why they lost that game to the Storm in the preliminary finals. But I just don't know if he doesn't have a great season and either get a contract extension, a re-signed contract at the Sharks, or if he goes elsewhere, like, where does he go? Where fits Will Kennedy? I honestly don't know, because the Knights don't need a fullback, the Titans don't need a fullback, the Eels don't need a fullback. Oh my gosh, the Raiders might actually score here from a mistake from the Sharkies. They are going to score. The Raiders are going to score in Zach Hosking, and that is an awful start. They're going to check this here. Jared Sutton's going to check this. I don't know what has just happened here with Cronulla defensively. They're actually looking at potentially an offside here. Potentially an offside. So he has the ball bounce away from him. Martin dinks it through. And, oh yeah, he's definitely going to be offside. Canberra player is well in front. And when the ball gets touched, he's within 10 metres. Yep, that's going to be a penalty here to Cronulla. They're very lucky. They are very, very damn well lucky here. The Sharkies, they dodge an early bullet. So yeah, if Will Kennedy doesn't have a great year, where suits him? Storm aren't going to go that way. They've got Sualawi Faulongo. Warriors, they won't go that way. Raiders, they won't go that way. Eels, no. Panthers, no. Maybe Perth would be the only real option that I could see. T-Tribe's still doing this, bro. The man, mate. We're always here. We're here for every single game, son. We're flying, T-Tribe. Mate, when you think of a plane, we're above the plane flying. That's how much we flying here, son. We're consistent. We're consistent, even though I'm in Vietnam. Third tackle at 45 for the Sharkies on the Raiders side of the field. Ben says no TRY try time for the Faders there. No try time there. I guess the Bulldogs would be an okay place for Kennedy to go. It wouldn't surprise me, but with that being said, that would be so funny because the Dogs have been kind of pillaging the Sharks fullbacks of late. Connor Tracy was one of them. And the Sharkies will put that ball up into the air, 5 metres out. The Raiders will get it through Dane Laurie. It'll be first tackle. And Taylor says, well, you'd better get ready for a brand new day. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubbies gonna win today. Go, Cubs, go. Go Cubs, go! Hey Chicago, what do you say? Cubs are going to win today. Actually, I think baseball's on now. I think the Cubbies had their first game today, didn't they? But in the oh no, we didn't win. But it is just spring training, man. And they lost the White Sox. But yeah, spring training baseball's on right now. Go to Cubbies, mate. Go to damn well Cubbies. How about them Cubbies? What a team. Fit tackle for the Raiders at the 30. Vance this afternoon, Mr. Entertain House. Don't say hello to him. Apparently he put the Titans in 16th. He's a dog. He's a dog, that Entertain House. I love him, but he's a dog. He really is, and he knows it too. Sharkies, Will Candy gets that ball out to the left, and Kale Ero will bring this ball to the 48. Something to say hello about the drive to Premier's territory for the charity match. Is that today or tomorrow? Is that on today, or is that on tomorrow? 6 again here for Cronulla at the 45. Premier's territory. What's Premier's territory for the charity match? Premier's territory? How did you know? Because I saw your message come through on Instagram, you dog. You literally told me like 5-10 minutes ago. Who are you talking about? He did, Ben. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace. He put him in 16th place. Third tackle for Cronulla at 25. That's really difficult to come 16th place when you're never going to lose a game ever again. The Sharkies are away here. Seneca Toa, he's taking out 13 metres away from the line. 4th tackle. He's a disgrace, that guy. And now Tommy Hazelton's 5 metres away from the line. Fit tackle. 5 metres away. Off to Will Kennedy. Kennedy! That's awful from the Sharks. Britton Nakora. He's just going to take this ball down on fit tackle. That was awful from Cronulla. The Chicago club doesn't know how to play basketball. Yeah, well, what? I'm sure the Chicago White Sox don't know how to play basketball, mate, because they are a baseball team. Yes. The Chicago White Sox, I'm pretty certain, don't know how to play basketball because they are a baseball team. Then again, Michael Jordan did go from the Chicago Bulls to the Chicago White Sox. Didn't really know how to play baseball either, to be fair. That'll be a penalty to the Raiders at the 15. Penalty to the Raiders. Love Your Cubs song was a vibe. It's because it's a great song. Baseball time is here again. You can catch it all on WGN. So stamp your feet and clap your hands. Boom, 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 boom. Chicago Cubs got the greatest fans. What are we singing, Entertain House? We're singing Go Cubs Go. Great tune. What a tune, mate. It just gets you fired up. So it's going to be Raiders ball at 35 after that penalty. I haven't really been keeping up too much to date with it, but is it tomorrow or is it today, Hayden? And still figuring out what Premier's territory means. 2-game ban for Cleary seems strong. No, it makes sense. But with that being said, that does actually remove him from Dally M already. He can't win the Dally M because he's got 2-game suspension. They need to change that rule, man. They need to change it. They need to try and figure out another way. There has to be something to not make just those 2-game bans mean you're ineligible, because it really is unfair for mine. I know that you need to be harsh adjudicators to try and lock down on it. That's going to be Raiders ball at 20. But I just feel like it's not a fair system overall, in my personal opinion. The Raiders will kick that ball to the 10, and that's a knock on. Like, maybe if you get 2 suspensions worth 2 games, if you get 2 actually, you know what? I'd just say if you get 2 suspensions in a year, then you should be ineligible. But a 1 suspension for 2 games shouldn't have you ineligible, for my opinion. Good offload there from Adam Fanua Blake. It's first tackle. Blake Brayley now brings it to the 40. He'll get that ball out to the wings to Samuel Stone Street, and Stone Street's going to get this ball to the 40 on second tackle. What is Premier's territory, Entertain House? I don't understand what this Premier's territory nonsense is. What are you saying? Are you going to the Gold Coast or something? Is the game on the Gold Coast? Oh, Parramatta is Premier's territory. Mate, you haven't won a national competition. What are you talking about? The only competition you've won is a state championship, effectively. 4th tackle now at 33. So how can you be out of it before the season even starts? Exactly. It's rough, man. I do feel like they'll change the rule. I feel like they'll change it. 5th tackle now at the 25. Braden Trindle's going to put that ball up into the air. Chase through is pretty weak from Cronulla. And Dane Laurie will get taken down to the 5. But the chase was pretty weak from Cronulla overall. Pence, I just saw this Cleary incident this morning. Some of those comments said he didn't contact the head. I'm like, bro, no, they're delusional if they said he didn't contact the head. No, it's a fair suspension. It is. It's a fair suspension. I just don't believe that he should be ineligible for the Dally M based off of it. That's how he says top 16 is the target. Yeah, it's a good point. That's a great point. Dane Laurie now, he'll bring the ball out of the 45 and fit tackle, 8 minutes in here. Neither teams really assert themselves overall. Oh, and then there you're going to see a knock on from Alea of the Raiders. Ethan Alea. Gone. Slapper says maybe this year will be the year the Sharks get past finals. We say this every year, Slapper. We say this every year, mate. Every year the Sharks look like they're bigger and better. Like, I'm a little bit off them this year. I was super high on them last year and thought they were going to win a comp pre-season, and the year before that too. They just haven't gotten there. And for Noah Blake, though, he'll get this ball to the 13 on third tackle. But you know, watch it be that the 1 year I'm off them is when they go and actually do it. Third tackle now for Cronulla. Nico Hines, 10 metres out. He'll step inside himself. He'll be taken out of the 5 on 4 tackle. 10 minutes gone here, guys, in the first half. 30 minutes to go in the first half. Hit that like button and subscribe and get involved in the chat if you are kicking around. Braden Trindle to Will Candy at the 15. He flicks that ball over the sideline, and the ball has reached Chicago itself with that pass. There's still something missing with the Sharks. Yeah, I would agree, Ben. I don't know what it is, though. I don't know what it is because I do actually think they've got a really strong team. William Kennedy is actually not a bad player when he's on, but it's just he's so inconsistent. Obviously, they're missing Mulatalo, but Stoneshrew is going to be fine. Sione Katoa is one of the toughest wingers, and he's an international. Jesse Ramian, he's fantastic. He hasn't played New South Wales before, has he? Or has he played New South Wales? Did he get one game for New South Wales? Did he maybe get one game for New South Wales? I know... he's an unbelievable player. I can't remember if he did. I think he might have. Cale Ero, international. Braden Trindle, Indigenous. Nico Hines, he's played Origin and Indigenous. Adam Fanor-Blake. Oh, there's a challenger unsuccessful here. What? The Sharks challenged something. I don't know what they challenged because there was nothing to challenge, but they challenged something, and well done, William Kennedy. Stupid. Fanor-Blake, international, now Origin. Blake Brayley been knocking on the door of Origin, just can't get in, obviously. Hazelton, very good. Britt Nakora, international, now he'll be Origin. Billy Burns is starting alongside him now, which is good to see, those both guys, because Billy Burns was incredible in 2025. Incredible in 2025. What a pass by Kennedy. Not only was it a great pass for him, but it was also a lost challenge. So he passed the ball to Rosette at Gosford Stadium. Oh, good offload. The Raiders are away here. Raiders are away, the 40, the 35, and taken down about 33 metres away from the Sharkies line. Not only did he throw the ball to Rosette at Gosford Stadium, but he also lost a challenge that I didn't even know what they were challenging. And then the Raiders will knock the ball on through Zach Hosting. And Sharkies 0 tackle at 25. Kenny's pretty good. Oh, sometimes. Sometimes he is. First tackle here at the 33. He should be a lot better than what he is. He should be. Yeah, it was a great pass to Grassy, to be fair. Yeah, well, another great pass to Grassy here from the Sharks. It will go to ground. Another knock-on here. 11 minutes in, we're seeing plenty of knock-ons. Grassy McGrath having a big game. Massive game here. Absolutely bloody stunning game of knock-ons. If you love knock-ons, this is the game for you. This is the game for you. 11 minutes in, Raiders will get on the attack. Evening, Mr. Nikhil. Grassy for the Dally M already. Well, Grassy's never lost the Dally M, just like the Titans never losing a game again. It's just written in the stars. It's just like an unwritten rule. Should be a written rule. Raiders now at 30 on first tackle. Lagan says, fun fact, Cameron Serraldo has an exact coaching record of 50%. For Panthers, he won 3 and lost 3. For Italy, he won 3 and lost 3. And for the Dogs, he's won 41 and lost 41. Nearly a knock on there for the Raiders again, but they get the ball backwards. Thank you for the fun fact there, Lagan. Not too sure why we needed to know that, but you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. He's 50% everywhere. Surprised considering the hype of the Dogs that he's still only 41 from 41. Alpha Masanga gets it out to a layer. And Sasangi, he'll be 4 tackle at the 5. Sasangi's another one of those hot and cold players. He goes up, he goes down. Out the back, hit Alpha Masanga. Then Morgan Smithies. And Smithies is fit tackle at the 10. Just a quick fat. Well, thank you for the quick fat, Logan. Never again. Alpha Masanga kicks it through. Kennedy picks it up. And he will bring it out of the 10 here on first tackle. Ero going to score this game, you think? T-Tribe, don't bet on try scorers in preseason. Maybe he could, but he will probably not play the second half. So, look, maybe he could, but he probably won't play the second half, so you better hope that he scores in the first half. They can make that 42 losses when they verse the Titans. Well, 43, because you're giving both losses, obviously. It's like a bye for us. Velamir getting around it. Cedric says who's going to win. Probably the Sharks, man, but this is a preseason game, so it doesn't really matter who's going to win. It's just a preseason game. We're looking to see how teams are performing, and right now, haven't been too impressed with a pretty full-strength Sharkies team. In the early part, they're going to let that bounce, and lucky it goes the right way for the Raiders. There'll be a 7-tackle set coming up for Canberra. And the first 13 minutes here hasn't really impressed me in regards to the Sharkies being a better team than they were last year. I know it's just pre-season, but you do have to take note of things. They've got a much stronger team in the Raiders today. And last week they lost 40-6. Even though they had a reserve grade team in, they still show that the lack of depth at the Sharks is pretty rough as we currently speak. A layup off to Simi Sasangi. And Sasangi will be at the 45. I don't want to see Simi Sasangi. Oh, he's lost the ball. Oh my gosh, this is a fumble-a-thon. This is a knock on here, knock on there, knock on everywhere. I think Ramian played under 18, Origin Ben says. Did Jesse Ramian ever play Origin? No, Jesse Ramian has never played for New South Wales instead of Origin, despite being considered as a strong candidate and being in the mix for selection in 2024. That's where I'd be getting it from. He's never made his debut. Ramian was considered a bolter for the 2024 New South Wales Blues side, with coach Michael Maguire reportedly contacting him regarding his form, yet he did not ultimately gain selection. Well, he hasn't played for Origin, he's played with the Indigenous All-Stars, yeah. So, no, he hasn't, but I do remember when he was that bolter back in 2024. First tackle now for the Sharkies, out of 35, turns into a set restart. So, Adam Fanor Blake now will be first tackle, 22 metres out. Let's see this attack here, Cronulla. Let's see this attack here. Blake Brayley, he's going to get it to Nico Hines. Hines short ball into a rampaging line of Brett Nakora. And I don't think you're going to be surprised when I tell you this. It is a knock on. So Raiders 0 tackle at 15. Velamir says my favourite team is the Dolphins. I'm so sorry to hear. First tackle here for the Raiders. They'll be 20 minutes out. Cedric says my view or tips, Raiders going to win. Okay, sure, but it's a preseason game. Like, both these teams will take all their players off in the second half, and Raiders knock it on again. This is just a knock-on central. Welcome to the preseason, lads. Last 10 minutes completions, the Raiders are 3 from 8, and the Sharkies are like 4 from 7. This has been a very yikes last 10 minutes. Taj Morton says, who do you reckon will finish higher this year, Raiders or Shark? Who I reckon will finish higher? It's a really tough one, man, because the Raiders in a different direction now. They're still young, but they've got a bit of experience overall. And they've got a lot of experience in the forward pack, but the back line is still a bit loosey-goosey, but it's strong. The biggest issue, though, is they don't really know their halfback. Ethan Sanders is now their halfback with Ethan Strange. They've also got Kobe Black waiting in the wings. The Raiders are in a bit of a difficult place where Sanders didn't look spectacular in his brief NRL stint, but they have backed him in overall. So I'm going to say the Sharks, but I'm just so hesitant on that. The Sharks have been good but so disappointing in the last couple of years. Like, they still make the prelim, but you know what I mean when I say they've been great but so disappointing. So I will say the Sharks. Sharkies here over the top. They give it across to Sione Katoa, and he will score. Sharkies will score through Sione Katoa. And Cronulla on the board first here, 4-0 with the kit to come. Yeah, I will say Sharks maybe finish above, just because I'm too concerned about the change in the Raiders, whilst the Sharks, they haven't changed. Fire up, bro. Every team of these preseason games are useless. Better ball handling and A grade. But that's the whole point of preseason, to get your bodies warmed up, get the rhythm back in and the structure back into your body of week-to-week footy. To be fair, Tigers and Panthers game last night was great. It was a really good contest overall. A really good contest overall. Dolphins and Warriors was disappointing on the defensive side of things. There's a lot of points scored. And this game so far, there's just been a lot of knock-ons. That World Club Challenge, though, was really fun to watch between the Broncos and Hull. All right, Chuck. For the last couple of years, it generally feels like there's an invisible brick wall limit on the Sharks. It's a great way to put it, actually. An invisible brick wall limit on the Sharks. It's like I can't now. I could before, but I can't now see them winning the premiership. And if any Shark wants to debate this, then please, tell me why I should believe in you this year compared to how much I believed in you last year and the year before. I thought you would win the comp last year, and I thought you had a really good chance to win the comp beforehand. But obviously, you did lose in the prelim, which we do have to respect still. That's 4-0. They missed the kick through Nico Hines with 22 minutes to go the first half. What is the difference this year that should make me have confidence in you, more confidence in you now than I did the last 2 years? Please, Sharks fans, tell me what I should be thinking about. Fumbleathon continues. Grassy well in this early. Mate, well in, mate. Well in. They can't get any better past the wall. They can't, but we've also got to remember they still are making preliminary finals. So they made the preliminary final last year, and honestly, if they played anything less, if they played just a smidgen more, if Will Kennedy didn't have that horror first half, they should have won that game. The Storm weren't good enough. The Storm weren't good enough, but the Sharks were less than that. They were both pretty poor in that game. They were both really poor in that game. The Sharks were just more poor. I genuinely believe the Sharks should have won that game, but they didn't. Because there's that invisible wall. Alright, we'll see for the end of the T20. Lagan says, Liam Myson would have taken the Sharks to the grand final last year. I don't know about that. No, well, you know what? I wouldn't even... That's a knock-on from Billy Burns. A knock-on from Billy Burns, so the Raiders will get the ball to 40. I wouldn't actually necessarily say that's incorrect, because as long as Liam Myson doesn't have that kind of first half we saw from Will Kennedy in that preliminary final, I could have definitely seen them win that game. So I won't actually... I'm not even saying that Liam Myson just on his pure self, just if they had a different fullback in that individual game. Because he set them behind so much in that first half. So in a lot of those big games, the big players are completely missing. Yeah? Yeah, I know you're referring to Nico. By the way, completion rate is 50% for the Raiders and 64% for the Sharks. That is absolutely horrific. 20 minutes into the first half, 20 minutes to go. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. 2 games after this. Roosters, Eels, and the Titans and Melbourne. Time violation penalty against Cronulla, so the Raiders will get well on the attack here. They're 12 metres away from the line. I think Nico is overhated, but I also understand the criticism. But I think he's still overhated for sure. So Raiders now will be 10 metres out. I just think that maybe their halves have been in the incorrect position. And I've said this for many years now. I think that Nico was more of a 6 and Braden Trindle was more of a 7. And Trindle actually grew up playing as 7. They go out to the left. Up for Masanga, Mariota, and he'll be 5 metres away from the line. Third tackle. Can Canberra get over the line here? They roll it at the back. Jaden Brayley. First time in Canberra colours, obviously coming across from the Newcastle Knights. Well, they go down. Upper Masanga, short ball to Dane Laurie, and Dane Laurie will be fit tackle at the 5. This is one of the only few teams that Dane Laurie, I guess, hasn't played for. Is that played out here from Cronulla? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That was horrific from Canberra, and the Sharks will get the ball at the 8. So just an absolute schmozzle. You would assume Kennedy can at least work on his positioning. That Hughes try was too easy. But this has been a thing for him for many years now. This has not been just like a random thing. This is, when I was in Vegas last year and I was sitting in the Sharks section with my mum, because obviously my mum is a Sharks fan, and I was sitting with her, and there was these 2 guys behind us, great guys, lovely, lovely blokes, and we were talking, and he was saying, as a Sharks fan, obviously I'm a Titans fan, but I was there, and he was saying as a Sharks fan how much he disliked Will Kennedy, and I said, I actually like Will Kennedy, he has some really big games. I'll always remember that 4-try game that he did have. He has some big games, but when he's off, but when he's on, he is unbelievable. And then it was kind of proven in the first half of last year when he was playing really good footy and was near the top of the Dally M. Don't think he should have ever been near the top of the Dally M, but he was still playing some really good footy in comparison. And then he just dropped off the face of the cliff. and went down the opposite trajectory to what I was saying, and I just don't have that confidence in him again. I just have like an icky feeling with Cronulla where I've just believed in them for too much, and I don't know how they get past that invisible wall. Everyone says 50%. Oh, it's another knock on. The Raiders are actually under 50% completion rate right now, I reckon. I reckon they're under 50% completion rate. Let me have a look. Oh, they're going to challenge this. Yeah, I wouldn't challenge this. You're going to lose it. Peak too early. Sort of. So, oh, no, it's not a challenge. They just... Oh, it's a drinks break. I was going to say, there's no way you would challenge that, but it's a drinks break. Good job. Due to broadcast restrictions, man, you can't watch it for free on the old YouTube or the old Twitch. But the best you've got is me commentate it and get involved in the chat. Corey Horsburgh wouldn't let this happen. Wouldn't let this happen, Corey Horsburgh. He'd probably cry about it, though. He'd probably cry about it. That's a Corey Horsburgh thing to do. Mrs. Bro, I appreciate all you do, but get a standalone mic, bro. My ears are bleeding. You're the only one who's really complained about that. Are you sure it's me, man? Because like nobody else has really complained about it. I guess a couple of months ago we had someone, but like overall, no one else really complains. Breton says, "Doing mate, did we beat Oman last night?" Yeah, we did. We won by I think like 8 wickets or something, man. We were only chasing. Oh, might have been even 9 wickets to be fair. Might have been 9 wickets. Yeah, we won by 9 wickets, 62 balls left. We chased 104 and 9.4. And literally less than the 10 overs. I didn't stream it though, because there's just too much nonsense. There's just too much nonsense in regards to the political side of it all. But 18 minutes and 18 seconds to go here of the first half. There's volume buttons for a reason. Well, it's surprising that someone has such an upset reaction towards the sound of the microphone when nobody else complains about it. I mean, nobody else complains about it. So Nico Hines going to get this ball at the 45 after the drinks break there. Yeah, I took the stream down because I was just like, it's just ridiculous with the Steve Smith situation, and I knew it was going to be over in like 10 overs. It's pretty good that we actually ended up bowling first, because otherwise, if we bat first, it could have gone the full distance kind of deal. But at the end of the day, there was just no point to it. We will be live tonight though for New Zealand versus Pakistan. Forward tackle now for Cronulla, and they are 30 metres away from the line. Blake Brayley. He's going to go to the right-hand side of Nico Hines. Hines to Will Candy. Candy then to Jesse Ramian, and Ramian is going to be at the 15. You know what? I'll ask you guys all in the chat. I will ask everyone. Blake, 1 second. Brayley to Nikora underneath. Try time, Jesse Ramian. That's a nice try. It's a good offload there from Nikora. And he did pick it nicely because he saw that the defender was actually offside. He wasn't square marker and he was offside. So he ran at him, and then as soon as the Raiders all just collectively came together against that beautiful offload, Jesse Ramian was working in nicely. So try time for Cronulla. It's 8-0 with the kit to come. I ask everyone here, would you prefer that I get a standalone microphone? I can do it. I can't do it right this very second. I won't probably do it till sometime throughout this week. But I can do it if it's bad. But we just don't really get any complaints about it, so that's why I don't change it. But great offload there from Britt Nikora. 17 minutes to go here in the first half. There's volume buttons for a reason. Yeah, what's your time for the Sharkies? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It sounds good to me, what you have. Raiders can't get out their own way. They cannot right now. See, that's why it's so weird, because like you want to take what a comment says, and you want to take it seriously, but then again, now I don't know if it's just like a troll or not. I mean, obviously the standalone mic would be better, but the mic right now is fine as it is, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. And they will get the kick. They will get the kick. Jacko says 4 hours till the fate of the storm. Oh my gosh. You're not wrong, Jacko. It's scary thinking about what the Storm are going to get put through. It's absolutely terrifying. It's going to be absolutely disgraceful. And when the Titans do beat the Storm, there's going to be a lovely Instagram post that goes out. Lovely. Nikhil says, yes, always lifting your quality as your channel grows. Ibrahim says, Jacko is our good luck charm. Jacko is 100%. As soon as he became a Titans fan, we haven't lost a game. So he better keep it up, otherwise we're blaming him. Otherwise we're blaming him if we don't win today. But his time will come, don't you worry. Jacko's time of disappointment will come. Just without the comeback, because we'll never lose the game again. Second tackle here for Cronulla at the 20. They better show up after this. Oh, yes, Jacko. They're well known for showing up. Yeah. They're very well known for showing up. So 6 again here for Cronulla at the 32. Your time will come, Jacko. Your time will come. Nico Hines, great run. He'll get taken at the 47 on the second tackle. 15 minutes to go in the first half. Cheeky Curtis Moran had he. Did you see the Titans actually collabed? Oh, it's a bad knock-on from Cronulla. And the Raiders on zero tackle will be at the 40. Do you see the Titans collabed with a random Curtis Moran account? They literally did an Instagram collaboration with a random Curtis Moran fan account. So strange. Third tackle now for the Raiders at the 45. And they go out to the left. Now the Raiders are going to be 35 metres away from the line. Fourth tackle. Alpha Masanga. Morgan Smithies. And Smithies will be at the 35. Oh, nearly just exited out of all that. And they'll put this to Sam Stone Street. And Stone Street will be at the 10. We'll just make sure of something here. I am just going to make sure of something. Okay, yes, sweet. Oh, good. There we go. Okay, Nico Hines head off to Sione Katoa. And Sione Katoa gets crunched in the tackle there. And now will be taken down third tackle at the 20. Off to Toby Rudolph. And Rudolph, he's known for a knock-on or two. And that should be... No, he's going to tell him to go back and play it on the mark. Fourth tackle. Toby Rudolph, definitely... You cross your fingers when he's got the ball. Have seen many horrific games from him. I did actually see that collab. What a random collab. Wow, Trindle nearly lost that ball too. But he will kick it to the 30. He fumbled it and it kicked it to the 30. There's nothing wrong with that. Felt like it's a knock-on. Maybe just not a fan of the Aussie accent. Maybe, Seb. Maybe. Australian accent. How good's it? How good's it, mate? It's the greatest accent of all time. Oh, boy. I will say, though, I don't know how we get ranked in, like, number 1 or number 2 across the world for the sexiest accent. I don't get it. I don't get how Aussies apparently have the first or the second best accent in the world on pretty much all lists. There's plenty of other accents better than ours. Maybe it's it's another knock on for the Raiders. Nico Hines picks it up and he'll bring it out to the 45, to the 50. Kale Hero. He cuts the field and gets the 45 on the Raiders side of the field. 47 seconds behind your stream, so I stay in sync with the commentary. Well, good stuff. Will Kennedy now, he'll be at the 30 on second tackle. So Raiders have had 8 errors. The Sharks have had 5 errors. Blake Brayley off to Braden Trindle, so one. I meant to say Britain Nakora. Wow, it was a good chase through from the Raiders. Number 23 to prevent a try there for Braden Trindle. That was a really nice play from Braden Trindle, but even better, a play from Joe Roddy of the Raiders to get back and stop that. Going all right, Ben. Just loving a bit of rugby league today. And is that another knock-on for the Raiders? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh, Canberra. Their completion rate is now going to be, I think, 8 from 15. I think it's about to be 8 from 15. So they're honestly just above 50%. After the great work from Roddy to then knock that ball on straight away, it's just outrageous here from Canberra. How have you had 9 errors so far in the first half? How have you had 9 errors It says only 6. It says only 7, but they've had 9. They're about to be like 53% on the completion rate. Blake Brayley, he'll get off to Toby Rudolph. It'll be second tackle. Cronulla haven't been great with their completion rate, but it's been far better than 50%. Far better. Blake Brayley. Braden Trindle. Trindle at the back. Siena Katoa steps. Oh, slips over. Gets the offload away. Jesse Ramian runs it hard. Runs it tough. And will... Oh, yeah, I think maybe. I think he might have got this. I think he may have got this. They're going to say no try, but I actually think he may have got this. It's very close. There was like a ball movement that went down and up. Maybe he got it then. Maybe he got it then. So he goes down here. Either way, it's held up if it's a no try. Oh, unless it's a knock on. Cooper Cronk saying maybe a knock on, but I definitely saw the ball go down and up. And then he reaches here and it will come down here. That's a try. His right hand's still on it. They're going to actually say it is a knock-on. They're going to say it's a knock-on because he releases kind of his left arm, but his right hand is on top of it. But because his left arm isn't on it anymore, that is saying that it's touching the Raiders' arm, and the only reason it's not the knock-on there is because of touching the Raiders' arm, which makes it a knock-on, because the ball definitely touched the ground, but it was classed as a knock-on. Trindle's play for the Indigenous the other day with that almost try assist to Campbell was good. I wish it ended up being a try. Yeah, it would have been good. Harrison probably bet on the Raiders and jinxed them. Yeah, it's surprising that Harrison turns up for a random NRL. Oh, well, to be fair, it is quite early in England right now. What is it, like 8 a.m. for you, Jacko? Time in England. It's 5:30 a.m. Jacko, you're always an early riser, that's for sure. Docile says, need Era to score for the last leg of my multi. Come on, son. Well, you pretty much need him to do it in the next 10 minutes, mate, because he probably won't play too much in the second half. But 10 minutes to go here the first half, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. And if your ears are bleeding, well, then hit the double like button. Hit the like button a couple times. There'll be a penalty here to the Raiders. Xavier Savage going off into the dressing rooms right now. God bless him. Has anyone said you'd look... Oh, no. We've got another lookalike, have we? Nathan Cleary. I look absolutely nothing like Nathan Cleary. What is with the amount of times we get called the most random people? We get Daniel Ricciardo. We get Nathan Cleary now. What are the other ones, guys, in the comments? Let me know. Who have we also been compared with before? I forget. Because I get so mind blown by now apparently looking like Nathan Cleary. I look nothing like Nathan Cleary. Where's the chin? His chin no like here. There's no like a normal chin. With no chin like that. What are we talking about? Nathan Cleary. I am better than him at rugby league, but I think that's pretty obvious. But third tackle now, 12 metres away. Hey, guess what? We're both going to play the same amount of NRL games this year in the first 2 rounds. Fourth tackle. Nathan Cleary and I will both play a collective same amount of games in rounds 1 and 2. Out of the left hand, I'm in Vietnam. You do have a big chin, Blaze. I don't know when you're a big chin. What do you mean I got a big chin? I don't have a massive chin. You need help. They kick that ball through, and that's going to end up being a 7 tackle set for Cronulla. What do you mean I have a big chin? I don't have a big chin at all. I think you're a muppet. Someone calling Isako Mbappe was the worst one. Yeah, we did see somebody call Jermaine Isako a lookalike of Kylian Mbappe. That was incredible. So I think they've called a penalty here against... Yeah, he's taken the Raiders player out here, Braden Trindle, so it will be a penalty to Canberra, 10 metres away. Yeah, no, we did have it, Ben. Someone called Jermaine Isako a lookalike of Kylian Mbappe. It was incredible. It was the worst lookalike we'd ever had here in this chat. So second tackle for Canberra at the 5. And Jaden Brayley up for Masanga. And they'll be 2 metres out, third tackle. Jaden Brayley goes awkwardly there from dummy half. Short ball on the line. This is not great attacking from the Raiders as we speak. At least they're not knocking the ball on, though. That's a good start considering they're around 50% completion. Full tackle out to Alpha Masanga. Alpha Masanga gets it out the back and a layup. 10 metres away. Oh my gosh, and now we've got some... Oh, but don't worry about the Raiders knocking it on because Will Candy will knock it on instead. Will Candy will knock it on instead. So the completion rate for the Raiders is currently 56%. It'll probably go up to 60% now with that completed set. Sharks are at 72%. They're probably going to go down to about 68%. Maybe 69%. No one said I looked like Michael Jackson, you muppet. No one's ever said that. But Michael Jackson was innocent. I'll say that right now. 7 minutes 20 to go here of the first half. No one has ever said that. Harrison is still cuddling his teddy bear and sucking his thumb. That is probably what Harrison is doing right now. I think so. Raiders here, 8 metres away from the line. First tackle, 7 minutes to go the first half. Jaden Brayley, Alpha Masanga. They do need a little bit of Ethan Strange right now. And second tackle, 2 metres away. No, 6 again. First tackle. Set restart. And Martin, he'll be 5 metres away. Second tackle. They just can't break through. Sharks are a good defence, though. They do have good defensive structure. I think they were top 3 for defence last year or top 4. Over the top, and that's going to go out the back and really kill a good movement out the left. And they'll be 20 metres out, get the offload away. Dane Laurie back to the 24 now. They've lost plenty of metres here. Now third tackle at the 20. Ben says, what do you think Harrison's first word would have been? Would have been lose, mate. It would have been lose. 100%. Fourth tackle. Is this second string Raiders? No, but yes. Like, they don't have quite a... Yeah, second string. It's not as weak as other teams have shown in the preseason, but it's not their first string team, no. You know, there's no Ethan Sanders, there's no Ethan Strange, there's no Matty Tomoko, there's no Joe Tarpany, there's no Josh Papali'i, there's no Hudson Young. So, yes, it is. Yeah, Lagan's going to be back in 5 minutes, lads. I don't know why, but he'll return to the stream in about 5 minutes' time. Sharkies now will be at the 25 on first tackle. He should have told Harrison to bet on the Storm. He probably already has, mate. He probably already has. First tackle at the 35. Blake Brayley off to CSF for Talakai. And Talakai will get this ball to the 45. One day we're going to hide Lag and he's not even going to know. He's not even going to know. And he'll just try to figure out what's happening in his life. He'll be like, what am I doing? Who am I? Who really am I? He'll have a whole midlife crisis. Braden Ueli, before tackle at 35. I always do wonder, we've had to hide plenty of people on this channel. I do always wonder how many people are commenting in this chat right now that don't know that they've been hidden. Had you ever wondered that, moderators? It's always just a thought of my mind. Sharks get through, but Dane Laurie gets an easy one in the in goal. To be 7 tackles set for them. Does anyone, or not anyone, does the moderators think about how many people might be using this chat that are hidden, that we don't see their comments and they don't realise that they're hidden? I reckon there's plenty. First tackle now for the Raiders. Because we do have someone who pays for a membership here on the channel every month and is hidden. And they've been hidden for like 3 years. Because they had they went off like a wacko in the chat about something. A Raiders fan, funnily enough. Jay knows who we're talking about. Yeah, Raiders fan. Third tackle now at 33. Mitchell would know who we're talking about too. I think, maybe. Fourth tackle for the Raiders, and they're 20 metres away from the line. Yeah, it's a purgatory for the hidden ones for sure. Raiders get this ball to the 10 on fifth tackle. 3.5 left. Alpha Masanga, kick into the corner. This is the first time we've seen any real kind of hope from the Raiders. And it will be a knock-on. That will be a knock-on here. They might check to see if the Raider has been impacted whilst going up here, but it will be a knock-on, I would assume. I don't even think you need to check this at all. It's pretty clear. Unless Samuel Stone Street impacts him while they're going up. They're both chasing for the ball, going up for the ball. Yeah, Jed Stewart hand definitely touches this. It's in front of the Shark, but he definitely touches that, yeah. Hope those hidden guys still hit the like. Yeah, hopefully, mate. Yeah, smack it. Smack it in. So Ethan Alea knocks the ball on. Sharkies will get a 7-tackle set at the 20. But at least we saw a little bit of spice from the Raiders just there. Not Ethan Alea. Jed Stewart will knock the ball on after a kick from, I think, Ethan Alea. And Sione Katoa, he'll get the ball to the 30. On first tackle, Blake Brayley off to Siasifa Talakai. Don't expect the second half to have these same teams, guys. The Sharks will only play with their strong players the next 3. Same thing goes for the Raiders. Hamlin or Ueli. I actually want to know, did he officially change his name from Braden Hamlin Ueli to Braden Ueli? Because it does have it as Ueli now. Good offload there from Toby Rudolph. Braden Trindle gets it to Billy Burns. Billy Burns to Will Candy up the middle. And they'll be 35 metres away from the line for tackle. Blake Brayley to Nico Hines. Hines is going to have a little dink over the top. If it's Sione Katoa, knock on from the Raiders. The Sharks are going to get a fresh set of 6. Talakai picks it up. Good follow through there from Talakai. And they're 15 metres away on 0 tackle. It was a good little kick from Nico Hines to Sione Katoa, and you don't usually see kicks go Sione Katoa's way because he's a smaller guy. Oregon Kafusi with a great run. Blake Brayley out to Nico Hines. Hines then to Trindle. Trindle gets it offload quickly. Samuel Stone Street, and that, my friends, is a try. Very, very good quick passing there from Braden Trindle. Ball comes to him. He could easily have knocked that ball on there or made a huge mistake where it goes about 5-10 metres back from the flick, but he just gets it quickly, really speeds it up, and then obviously Samuel Stone Street ends up getting the try in the corner. It is 14-0 with a kick to come. I want to watch this again. Nico Hines, Trindle, look how quickly he had to. He grabs it like this, and in the space of like half of a second, he has to go from holding the ball like this to actually offloading the ball on a flow movement. So he's just quickly gone bang, bang like that. Really, really smooth, and they will score on the corner from Stone Street. AJTG says, so what you're saying is cash out while we're up. I wouldn't bother, man. I don't think the Raiders come back to win this game. But with that being said, it is pre-season and anything can happen in the second half because you're going to see all the Sharks players come off the field and you're going to see all the Raiders players come off the field and it's going to be 2 different teams. You know, so do you back the Sharks depth in more to hold out a 14/16-0 lead, or do you back the Raiders depth in more to come back from 14/16-0 down? That's how you have to think about the second half. Sharks errors is 7, Raiders errors is 9. The amount of errors in this first half has been diabolical. Diabolical. Completion rate 61% for the Raiders at 13 from 21, and for the Sharkies at 68% at 15 from 22. Nico Hines, he will get the kick. Yes, he will. He'll slap it through, and it is 16-0 with 38 seconds to go here the first half. Lagan says, this game is nearly Cowboys Knights level. Difference here, Lagan, is that this is not a regular season game. This is a pre-season game. That was in the regular season. And that also is the Vegas matchup. This preseason game is not the Vegas matchup. They were both in Vegas last year. Raiders played the Warriors and Sharks played the Panthers. But this is not the Vegas matchup. 38 seconds left here the first half. Hold on. 2. There we go. All right, so there's about 30 seconds left here. 30 seconds left. Kind of scared about that match. Yeah, we all are. We're all scared for our mental health. We're all scared of our mental health watching the Cowboys and the Knights open up the season. Second tackle for the Sharks at the 25. Blake Brayley to Oren Kafusi, then to Nico Hines. Hines away, he gets it off into Siasifa Talakai. Talakai at the 50, he's at the 40, the 35, he gets it. Oh, he's throwing the ball over the sideline. Sione Katoa would have made a try because even though Sebastian Crisp would have cut him off, he also had Jesse Ramey on his inside, but Talakai is throwing the ball over the sideline, and that is half-time. And that, my friends, is a half-time here. So the Sharkies lead 16 points to nil. Obviously, guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here. We're not really going to read through the in-depth stats because preseason, the in-depth stats don't really matter because you will see two completely different teams in the second half. So it's not. We usually read the stats out so you can get an update in regards to how the second half should play out for the most part. But there just isn't really much point because overall, this is going to be two different teams. But the try scorers for the Sharks are Sione Katoa, Jesse Ramey, and Stone Street. And the most important stats to look at right now is that there's a healthy amount of ball play. 28 and a half minutes across the game from both teams. 14 minutes, 27 time in possession for the Raiders. 14 minutes and 9 seconds for the Sharks, which is, an equal 50% each. But that's 28 and a half minutes when you want to see a threshold 25. Very good, healthy amount of ball in play. Completion rates just diabolical. 61%. You need to see at least 80%. 61% for the Raiders at 13 from 21 is awful. And 69% for the Sharks at 16 from 23 is also awful. If you're ever touching the 60s, it's really bad. If you're ever touching the 50s, please leave the field. If you're going under 50, we're deleting your franchise. We're deleting your club. But 66 and 61 is the completion rate in this game. With less runs, the Sharks have got more meters by a good amount. So 846 run meters from 85 runs, whilst the Raiders are at 87 runs for 706 run meters. That is a 2-run gap, and yet the Sharks have got 140 odd more meters than what the Raiders do. That's actually quite crazy. Line break 5-1 Sharks. Tackle breaks is 29-13. Sharks ways. The Raiders are missing a lot of tackles here. A lot of tackles. Average set distance is not great for both teams. Underwhelming 33.62 for the Raiders and hitting the marker 36.95 for the Sharks. Play the ball speeds both average at 3.62 and 3.55. Offloads is 5.5. And then in regards to effective tackle percentage, Raiders 29 missed tackles, 12 ineffective. Average amount of missed tackles is 15 to 17. Ineffective tackles average is 5 to 7. 29 is 12 above the highest of the averages there. It's awful. And the ineffective tackles is 5 above the highest of 7. That's awful. So 80.3% is in the disgusting category. It's really poor there from the Raiders defensively. And that's why it's 16-0. Whilst the Sharks, they're at nil because 90.64% effective tackle percentage, 184 tackles made for only 13 missed tackles and 6 ineffective. This is with a similar amount of tackles made, actually more tackles made by about 16, actually by literally 16. They are 2 under the lowest of the averages of 15 to 18 in the missed tackle department, and in regards to the ineffective tackles, they're bang smack in the middle of 5 to 7 on the average. So 19 bad tackles from the Sharks in the first half, but a whopping 41 bad tackles from the Raiders in the first half. Again, though, not a first-string Raiders team. It simply isn't. Errors-wise is diabolical. Errors-wise is just absolutely diabolical in this game. 7 errors and above is an awful game. 4 to 6, is average, and then 3 and below is really good. 7 plus is awful. The Sharks are at 8 at halftime. The Raiders are at 10 at halftime, and I think that might be underdoing it by 1. I think they'll update that. 18 errors in the first half. We nearly saw an error every 2 minutes of that first half. That's how bad that stat is. That is awful. I know it's a preseason, but you're still professional players at the end of the day. 18 errors, 8 for one team and 10 for the other. It's just unacceptable. Sharks penalties conceded 4-1. Ruck infringements is 3-1. And then inside 10 metres is 1-1. So look, overall, quick skim of the stats. The Sharks were clearly the better team in the first half by a long way. They've actually got over 200 metres more than the Raiders now with only 2 extra runs. That's how good it's been. They've gone over the 10 metres on average per run with 908 from 89, whilst the Raiders are about 160 metres behind the 10 metres on average per run. Tells you how much this game was in favour of the Sharkies. So at half time, it's not looking good for the Canberra, but again, not a first strength team. Up the Bunny says, hope the Tigers make the 8 this year. Well, I had a bit of confidence in them after last night. I do have a little bit of, a little cheeky bit of confidence in them after last night. But we'll see how that pans out. Sometimes we can have some confidence in how they're playing, and we get a little bit of belief in them, and then they fall apart. So we'll see how it goes in the early part of the year, but it was a positive first half from them last night. I don't care about the second half. The first half I cared about, and they were good. Sean says, festival in the village today. The music is off its head, loud on the truck. Love to hear that. But guys, I'm just going to quickly go grab. I've got a mango smoothie in the fridge right now. Got to go grab that. Going to quickly go to the bathroom, and then I'll be back here for the second half. So hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. I'll be back in just one moment. All right, we are back. Let me just make sure audio is working and we're making people's ears bleed. All right, we are smooth again. Oh, hold on one second. Why is this? Why is my audio muted for the actual game though? One moment here. I'm just. There we go. Okay, that's back on. I don't know what happened there, where my actual sound cut. But yeah, Talakai, look, he is a very interesting player. Last year, I don't think he was exceptional, but he's a very solid player. He had a really breakout year a couple of years back. Obviously, the four try game against Morgan Harper. We all know about that. Defensively, he's very, very solid. Actually, I'll go on to his stats as a player. But where is he? On the bench here, number 14. So going to his stats from last season, he actually originally debuted for the Rabbitohs. I didn't even know that, back in 2016, 2017. But last year in 2025, he had a win percentage of 62%. He had 2 tries. He also had 3 line breaks, 11 offloads. This is in 24 games. He had 47 missed tackles, but 256 tackles made for an 84.49% tackle efficiency. His tackle efficiency has actually dropped off quite considerably over the years. So he originally started out at 96.50 tackle efficiency percentage in 2016. That was his debut year. However, that was also just in 3 games played, but he had 35 tackles made for 1 missed. And then the second game that he had, second season he played at the Rabbitohs, he played 8 games and had 95 tackles made for 15 missed. So he dropped from 96.5 to 86.36. He went up to 89.57% again with his debut year for the Sharks back in 2020. So 3 years after that Rabbitohs. So what happened to him between 2018, 2019? He didn't play for 2 years. But then when he must have gone to the Super League or something. I'm not too sure what happened there. But in 2020, when he went to the Sharks, he scored 4 tries. He loves having a debut year for a club, that's for sure. And had the 89.57% tackle efficiency and then dropped to 83 the next year. Went back up to 86% the next year. And then dropped massively down to 77.91% tackle efficiency in 2023. So 2022, I feel, was the big year for him. I think that was his breakout year where everyone started to notice him. But then in 2023, he dropped back down to 77.91%, which is his lowest tackle efficiency of 194 tackles made for the 55 missed tackles. and his running meters on average is nowhere near what it was. Yeah, it was definitely 2022 that was his breakout year, because he had that really high tackle efficiency of 86.03%, and he also had an average running meters of 176, which is massive, and then also had an average of 165 in 2023. But in 2024 and 25, he had 103 and 113, so we dropped off by about 60 from 2023 to 2024, and then raised it to 113 last year. So it's obviously that he's off the bench rather than starting, which is what he was back then, but there is a very considerable drop off in the running meters in the last 2 years. So look, overall, he's not been at his best these last couple of years, but he was better last year than he was the year beforehand in tackle efficiency and also in average running meters. He had a couple less offloads though last year. He had 11 compared to 14. Yeah, 2022 is very clearly his best year by far, and there's nothing even close to it. He scored 7 tries. That's his most amount of tries as well. Yeah, 2022 was his big year. That was the year against Harper too in that game against Manly. Mitchell says, how was the swim of the toilet? You need help. Ben says, don't make the audio too loud though, because we all know Smith's sensitivity to noise. Exactly right. I remember when Talakai had that good game against Manly, to only then get outplayed by Stags the following week. He was talked about by the media during the time, but Tony was there to play. Yeah, but he did end up playing Origin on the back of that form. He was so hyped. It was just incredibly hyped after that game where he dominated Morgan Harper. He absolutely he smashed Morgan Harper there, and everyone just looked at him. But you know, there was a lot more at play than that game. But he did have a good year that year. I'm actually just looking right now. I'm looking at selecting the Las Vegas opening season games for until 2027. I want to see who they're planning on here. So these guys are suggesting that in 2027 it should be the Eels, Tigers, and Dolphins, Titans. Well, then the Storm. No. Well, then who? That would mean that the Storm don't play then. I don't think they're not going to take the Storm next year. They have to take the Melbourne Storm next year. Oh, Talakai was a garbage man in 2018-19. Did he actually just leave the game and go? That's similar to Vunikedi, Aloni Vunikedi, for the Roosters. He actually worked as a garbage man whilst he was at the club. I don't know if you're taking the piss or if you're being serious, but I do know that Talakai didn't play in 2018 and 2019. Yeah, so year 5, they're talking about maybe. There's no way you send the Knights again. Oh, this is zero tackle. They got this year wrong though. They had Dragons versus Bulldogs and Cowboys versus Storm. Cowboys versus Storm would have been way better to see than Cowboys versus the Knights, but I guess they didn't want to put an absolute dribble fest on as much as they could for year 4 in 2027. But yeah, I have heard for many years now that the Titans will be looking to play the Dolphins when we do go over there. I would like. Is there anything like this league plans 2017 launch rumored? I want to see if there's any kind of conversation about who it would be, because I know that they do want to take some games to London, Dubai, and Hong Kong. I'm pretty certain they will next year. I don't think it'll be every single game, but I'm sure that they will take obviously the 2 teams to Vegas, the 4 teams to Vegas, and then if they have a London, Dubai, and Hong Kong, that'll be another 6 teams. That'll be 10 teams in total, and then we'd have 3 games here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 3 games in Australia then. He had attitude problems and was released by South and played 2 years in the New South Wales Cup for Penrith and Newtown. Real story. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, well, he came back with a bang. For sure. It's actually very interesting how they do plan out Vegas. Yeah, I will be streaming Pakistan Kiwis tonight, Serpent. I didn't stream last night because I was so pissed off in the politics of Australia, taking Steve Smith over to Australia. No, taking Steve Smith over to Sri Lanka and then not playing him. And when we very well clearly know that he would have, probably got us into the Super 8s with, he would have. We would have ended up scoring 200, 210, maybe even 220 in that game against Sri Lanka, rather than a complete collapse after Cameron Green. But the second half is about to start here. Sharks were kicking it off to Raiders. That's what I didn't do last night, and I knew it was going to be an easy win anyway, and it obviously was. So guys, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. We're live for every single game of Rugby League, and the Raiders will receive the ball at their own end goal. Xavier Savage, who went off into the sheds before, but now he's back on at least. And that's a real strong run to get him started. So I want to see how many of these Shark starters will be starting the second half. So Nico is still on here. And now I'm seeing if Braden Trindle is still going to be on. Seeing if, that's 4 pass. That should have been a 4 pass there. I'm looking to see if Trindle's still on. Uele, Toby Rudolph, there's 2 benchies there. They've still got Rami and Sione Katoa. Still can't see Trindle unless he's out to the left. I don't think Trindle's come back on for the second half. Yeah, I don't think so. Unless he's just hiding on the wings right now. Anyway, we'll find out now. The Raiders are going to kick this ball down into the corner where it should be Sione Katoa. Picks up at the 15, at the 5, sorry. And he'll take it now to the 15. I wonder who will replace Candy at fullback. Oh, dude, spewing about ice and steel. I can't see him. Makes sense with a dead rubber too. Yeah, it was a dead rubber as well. But no, we'll definitely be live for New Zealand versus Pakistan later on tonight. No, Trindle is on. 6 again. Trindle is still there. So the Sharks are at least starting the second half off with their first strength team. They'll just probably start to pick him out after about 50 minutes then, I guess. Second tackle for Cronulla, and they'll get this ball to the 48. You are seeing a lot of the forwards, though. So that's a number 18 here and number 20 for the Sharks. All good passing here. Braden Trindle, Kale Iro, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Good run. I still can't believe lagging. I think it was you, wasn't it? I still can't believe you said the Kale Iro hasn't broken out yet. I can't believe you said this is his breakout year. He's definitely broken out. Talakai, great run. He'll be 13 metres out for tackle. Chevy Stewart, good tackle there on Talakai, but then misses a tackle against Hines, kicked through, but the Raiders will get it at the 5. They will get it at the 5. That was a poor pass. If he got the ball through, I saw what he was thinking of. I get why Hines tried it, but it just wasn't executed at all. Is this full strength reserve grade? For the Sharks, it's pretty much full strength. I would say it is full strength, considering that the only reason Mulatala's not playing is because of injury. And I can't think of anybody else who's really missing right now, maybe except for Cameron McInnes. But for the Raiders, they're missing Joe Tarpany, Hudson Young, K.O. Weeks, Ethan Strange, Ethan Sanders / Kobe Black. Lots of players, man. So the Raiders, not really, but the Sharks, yes. For how long is another question, though. And the Raiders now will punch this ball down to the 10. By the way, that's going to go for a 7-tackle set. By the way, the Tigers now just need the Titans to not get the 15 points and also the Eels to not get the 15 points. Because the Raiders, they needed to win this game. They aren't going to win this game right now. I can't see them coming back in this one. So the bonus points, let's see what they're looking at anyway. So even if they did come back, the bonus points are currently at 1 line break for Canberra. They need 4 more line breaks for that. That's not happening. Right now, no tries, so they're 5 away from that. They need 5 tries second half. Good luck with that. And then the offloads, they've got 5. They would need another 5. The Raiders might get 0 points out of this game. They are well and truly the potential of getting 0 points in this game. Whilst the Sharks, they're at 7 offloads. They need 3 more offloads to get a bonus point. Line breaks at 5, so they've already got the bonus point there, and they've got 3 tries. They just need 2 tries in this second half to go away with the full bonus points. They just need those 3. Oh, good run there from Ueli. He'll be 20 metres out for tackle. They just need 3 offloads and 2 tries, and they get the full 15 points here, the Sharks. Hines, short ball into the line, and that is going to be, I think, a try here for Cronulla. I think they are in, yeah. Yeah, Sutton's going to call it. That is a try for the Sharks. They only need 1 more try now for the bonus point. That is going to be underneath the post. It will be 20-0 with a kick to come from right in front. And, yeah, he just finds a way to put the ball down there. And it was a bit of an awkward one, but Hohepa Peru. Hohepa Peru, the man who's going to the Gold Coast Titans next year, scores a try. Get around him. That's a future Titans legend, that one, whoever Peru. That's a future Titans legend. Logan says, I meant he hasn't broken out into like a superstar of the game. He's only played 1.5 seasons worth. Okay, so what you're saying is that Kale Iro is similar to my viewpoint on, I guess, Samuela Fainu, because I believe that Samuela Fainu is not a superstar, and yeah, he's definitely scored that, and then it just fell out the back. So I think that Samuela Fainu is not quite superstar level across the NRL, even though I think that he is an unbelievable, and I think he has been broken out, Samuela Fainu, but I don't think he's broken out to the extent that he will. So that's what you're trying to say. Mid-start, so needs to have your Savage to score. You just got to hope that he stays on. You just got to hope that he plays the rest of the game. I doubt it, but you got to hope. Should Sharks be up more points, you reckon? It's a preseason, Serpent. It's whatever. They're still up 20-0. They're still up 22-0 with 34 minutes to go of the game. You can't complain. Bring back Ben Cummins. Yeah, Mitchell needs help, mate. Mitchell needs help. Bring back Henry Bernard. Bring back Bernard. 22-0 to the Sharks with 34 minutes to go of the game. Well, 8 days' time, guys. Only 8 days' time. You will see the regular season get underway next Sunday. How good. How good. I know Ashley Klein's in the bunker for the Titans game. Oh, lag it. I'm not doing it. That's it. That's it. Tell Jacko, call it off. Call it quits. That's who I'm blaming if we lose. That's it. I'm blaming Ashley Klein and I'm blaming Jacko. I reckon they're in cahoots with each other. Maybe Jacko is a CIA agent just trying to infiltrate. So Toby Rudolph will bring this ball to the 15 on first tackle. 15 metres out. Yep. Nico Hines is gone and Trindle. So the Sharks are now taking off their players after that try. Jaden Beryl's just come on for Cronulla. And he'll be playing the 9s. That's Blake Brayley, Trindle and Nico Hines all gone for the rest of the game. Wouldn't be surprised if they put Origin in Vegas. Nah, they wouldn't do that. Like, New Zealand's still a quick trip across. Perth is still same country, and Adelaide's still same country, and Victoria's still same country. Perth debatably same country, but still technically is. It's actually quicker to get to New Zealand than it is to Perth, right? So, you know, it does still make sense. I don't agree with it, but it does still make sense. That Origin is still an easy trip overall for Queenslanders and New South Wales if they want to have a little bit of a holiday and travel the country or travel internationally to New Zealand. But Origin in Vegas, they've actually done that before back in the 80s. They wouldn't do it again. No way. They wouldn't do it again. What I could see, it's a knock on from the Raiders. They did that a lot in the first half. Seneca Katoa gets his ball to the 28. The NRL trajectory wants to take the game as a neutral, because this is why it happens. I don't agree with them taking the game out of Queensland, New South Wales, but the reason why it happens is because it used to be that Queensland would get game 1 and game 3 and New South Wales would get game 2. And the year after that, they'd get New South Wales game 1 and 3 and Queensland would get game 2. So you have that's a knock-on from the Sharks and Raiders will get the ball at 15. Back-to-back knock-ons and back to the knock-ons in the first half. So what they're doing is by putting it in Melbourne, putting it in Adelaide, putting it in Perth, putting it in New Zealand, they're taking away that advantage for a team on each year, and they're putting it to a neutral venue that should take away the clinch, the clinch advantage. But the thing is that you're still seeing Game 3 in New South Wales, and you're still seeing Game 3 in Queensland. So it's like if it's a decider, well, you know, it's still advantage to the home team there for the decider, but they're trying to take away at least some of that advantage, right? Again, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand the perspective. I would not be surprised if in the future they did like what they see out of like a Hong Kong, out of like a Dubai, or they like Hawaii or Miami or whatnot. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did do that in a long-term future, and they tried to diversify it up with a game 2 elsewhere. But for the time being, I don't think that's even in the cards whatsoever. So Canberra will get this ball to the 30, 4 tackle. Too many Eels fans in attendance for my liking. Yeah, well, the Roosters Eels is after this. The Roosters Eels is right after this game here at Gosford Stadium. This is a doubleheader here. Raiders will kick that ball down to about the 30, and it'll bounce straight to the fullback here. Number 26 is who's come on for Will Kennedy. Number 26 is Taj Ford. So he is the one just behind Liam Eisen there. So it goes Kennedy, Liam Eisen, Taj Ford in regards to the depth rankings. Jake says Origin PNG will have the biggest crowd ever. Well, unfortunately, I disagree with you, but I agree with what you're saying. What you're saying is it'll be massive if it went to Papua New Guinea. Unfortunately, Papua New Guinea don't have a 84,000-seater stadium or a 100,000-seater stadium, so it can't ever be the biggest attendance ever. 30 minutes to go here of the game. Hit that like button and subscribe. But I would not be surprised if eventually, and this is 15, 10, 20, even 30 years away, I wouldn't be surprised if Papua New Guinea, with them having an NRL team, with them growing in the game, with them financial investments hopefully growing, they build a bigger stadium, a larger stadium, because the Papua New Guinea audience will want to see their team live during the NRL, playing these big teams like the Roosters and the Broncos and the future Premier Gold Coast Titans of 2026. They're going to love to play these teams, so they're going to sell it out, and they're going to need more people in the stadium. So they'll build up the stadium, and then one day they will probably take Origin there. For the time being, their stadium's like 15k, 20k at Port Moresby. It's not a big stadium, bro. Fit tackle, they kick it through for the Sharks, and it'll be a dropout. The stadium doesn't even have 10k. I think it does. I think it's got like 15k, isn't it? Port Moresby Stadium capacity is 14,800. Get it clear for yourself, lag. And while we're talking about under 10k, this isn't Cronulla. This isn't Sharky Park. This isn't Shark Park, but no, I do fully expect within the next, and I will say 20 to 30 years, that there could be a game of Origin in Papua New Guinea, which would get a whole deal of support. But right this very second, there's nowhere near enough big of a stadium in Papua New Guinea that could warrant that. Sharkies now, they're going to be 30 metres out through Hohepa Peru. He'll be the 25 on second tackle, 29 minutes left. Lagan gets his research from the toilet bowl. That's where he gets his research from. He looks into it like a mystic ball to try and see what he's thinking of. Seven says PNG have a bigger stadium than Cronulla. True. Sharks right up through. Touch Ford. Oh my gosh, half a metre short. Half a metre short for Taj Ford. Oh, quick little play. Dummy half scoot. And it is a try time for Cronulla. Try time for the Sharky Sharks, and they will get the bonus point there. So now they just need their offloads for the bonus point. The highest they can get is 15 anyway, because they lost last week and didn't get a single bonus point against Parramatta. But they still need to get 3 more offloads here. But a nice little scoot there from dummy half, Billy Burns. He was unbelievable last year, very underrated player, held Britton Okora out of his spot. And now it's Billy Burns and Britton Okora as the back rowers. Every time I see Dane Laurie's face, I drool. Yeah, Mitchell, you're an interesting character, aren't you? You are an interesting character. So try confirmed. Try confirmed. Billy Burns. What a couple of years he's had. Well, year in a game. Sorry, my bad. I was thinking about that pathetic shit show garbage stadium Cronulla has. I actually love Sharky Park. It's just not the same as it used to be, though. You know, they haven't evolved. It's like Manly Brookvale. I did prefer it when it didn't have the northern side section where it was 2 hills. That was the family hill, and then this was the drunk hill, effectively. I think the Sharks still have a drunk hill. They have the family hill, and then there's that little corner section, which is the drunk hill there on the club side. Mangroves club side is where that drunk hill is, and I think there's also that on the other side as well. But the northern side of the stadium is the family hill, which gets absolutely dead well packed. But they haven't really adjusted with the times at Cronulla, and it's really weird considering that they have a lot of money. They'll miss a kick there. They will miss the kick here, the Sharks. So it will stay 26-0. Number 26. Oh, that was Taj Ford. But anyway, overall, the Sharks haven't adjusted with the time. And it's disappointing because they've got so much money from their investments and in regards to the local area and selling off property and all this kind of stuff. And all they did was like somewhat renovate Shark Park. Like they somewhat renovated it. And they built up more of the club. And now I guess you've got the accommodation that can look off and you can make a lot of money from the accommodation that looks into the stadium. But increase your attendance, bro. You know, increase your attendance and make your stadium better. Because right now you do have a smaller stadium than Papua New Guinea. And that's a fact. That's a fact. Ben says the family hill and the drunk hill. Well, that is the two. That is the two at Sharky Park. I much prefer Shark Park than Brookvale, but that's only because of distance there. Shark Park is easier to get to, but with Brookvale, it's okay, but they're at least going with the time compared to the Sharks. So 26 minutes and 40 seconds left. Don't forget, right after this game, we do have the Parramatta of the Squeals taking on the Sydney Roosters. The Parramatta Squeals versus Sydney Roosters. Damn, the next game doesn't actually start for another 50 minutes. That's a surprise. Reduce the price and fill the stadium, make more money each game. Well, the Sharks do sell out. They do for the most part, but that's because it's an 11K stadium. I think the capacity is 11K. Hold on. Shark Park capacity. Shark Park capacity is... Or maybe... Oh, while early reports in 2022 indicated a lower capacity of 12,000, recent... Oh, geez, Analytics just got nailed. Recent updates confirm the venue can accommodate to around 15,000 to 16,000, including seating for 11,000. Okay, so the seating is 11,000, and I guess the hill can have an extra 4,000 to 5,000. Really? Oh, I don't know about that, man. 4,000 to 5,000 on a hill, you reckon? 11,000 seating. Obviously, people stand around the field. They stand on the corners and whatnot. You reckon they can fit 4,000 to 5,000 people on the hill at Sharky Park? That's gonna be a knock on from the Raiders. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if anyone's. I don't know if that's true. 4 to 5K on that hill. I'm not sure about that. Panthers since 2003 says the reason why they can't host finals footy now, and I agree they need to upgrade to catch up with everybody. It's embarrassing to have only 11,000 for a finals game at this modern time. So you're right. There is word that Brookvale won't even receive a finals game. Apparently, Shark Park and Brookvale will no longer be allowed. I think after this year, this might be the last year that we're allowed to see. Well, there's conversations being that even this year, but the conversation is that Shark Park and Manly aren't big enough to host finals footy. Sharkies here, they'll be 18 metres out from the line. There is potential that we may never see a finals game at Shark Park or Manly again, which is disappointing, but that's the way the game's going. They're going down the bigger capacity route. Second tackle here for Cronulla at the 15. They go to the left, and now they'll be 15 metres out again. Third tackle, Jaden Beryl. And Sharkies, here's a chance! Taken down 4 metres away from the line, 4 tackle. Yeah, I do feel like the Sharkies are inflating those numbers for sure, Slubber, because I can't see 5,000 people fitting on that field. On that hill, sorry. I can't see that. I feel like that's an inflation. Fit tackle at the 14. They're up 26-0. They've already got a bonus point for line breaks and a bonus point for 5 tries. And Sharkies get the offload away, and that's going to be Raiders ball. Wait, are they saying this is a knock-on from Raiders first? Yeah, they are. So this is going to be Sharks ball. I think they just got gifted an offload, though. Manly aren't making final teams up soon, so that's fine. What is Manly Brookvale capacity? I'm not calling you by your sponsor's name, by the way. I will call you Shark Park and I will call you Brookvale because you change your name every 2 seconds at Manly and Sharks for your stadium. Manly's only 18,000. Brookie's only 18,000. You can understand it. Whilst it sucks for a lot of the game in regards to you want a home finals game and you earn your right to a home finals game, at the end of the day, it isn't big enough. It just isn't. You're going to need to upgrade it. I would say at least 25,000 is what you should be having at minimum for a finals game based off of what they're saying. Second tackle here for Cronulla. They're 4 metres away from the line. Oregon Kafusi. He's going to roll it back to Jaden Beryl. Beryl to However Peru. And I just realised Teague Wilton's not playing today. Teague Wilton's not even on the bench. He's usually the starter instead of Bill. Oh, Sifa Talakai with a great line, and it'll be a try time. That is a beautiful try there from Sifa Talakai. Fantastic line right on through, and it will be 30-0 with a kick to come. And it's right next to 7 line breaks. They got 9 offloads, so they'll get all 3 bonus points here, Sharks. They will. That's a brilliant line there. Yeah, what's happening with Teague Wilton? He's not here. Is he injured? Is Teague Wilton injured? Teague Wilton won't play for the Sharks today. So coming to a shoulder injury he suffered in rounds. Oh, that's 10 months ago. Does anyone know in the chat why Teague Wilton's not here? Because I can't see anything right now. 2026. Oh, Teague 3 hours ago. Latest judiciary charges. I can't see. I don't know. Ocean Protect Stadium is such a shit name. Mate, it's been called everything. That's why I don't call them by their name. Like, Seabus changed from Skill Park. That is the only change of the name we've had. Suncorp has always been Suncorp. It used to be ANZ Stadium. Now it's a core. One change. It used to be Stadium Australia, but at the end of the day, that's what it's called when it's not the NRL. But it used to be ANZ. Now it's a core. Happy with one change. Manly have changed their name. Lotto Land, buddy. Everything. There was, what was it? Smile Stadium or some shit. I don't know. I won't call them by their sponsor's name because it just always changes. Shark Park used to have Ramondas, which was like a trash company, wasn't it? Like a sewage company, which is just ridiculous for them to be the stadium rights name. Like, it just makes us have so many insults to the Sharks. He's protesting. What do you mean he's protesting? 32-0 to Sharkies. 1300 Smile Stadium, Ben. How do you not know your own name? Not 1,000 miles. 1300 Smile Stadium for the Cowboys as well. That used to be it. Yeah, but that was a whole different stadium. 1300 Smile Stadium was a whole different stadium to what they have now. Queensland Country Bank Stadium is not the same stadium. That's a completely different area. Did you not know this, Ben? Did you think that Queensland Country Bank Stadium is the same stadium as 1300 Smile Stadium? They're like separated by about 40 minutes drive or 30 minutes drive. They're nowhere close to where they were. So the Sharkies will bring this ball to the 15 on first tackle. 20 minutes to go here at the game, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. The Sharks are away again. Hohepa Peru with a massive run, massive line. 40 metres out, 35 metres out. Back onto the inside, Taj forward. And he'll be taken down to the 15. I'm really impressed with Hohepa Peru today as a Titans fan. Who is coming to the Titans next year. I guess this band's a fake Cowboys fan. Well, he's from Adelaide, so I'm not surprised he wasn't aware. But that's a try time for Cronulla. As an offload, they'll get all their bonus points. They will get all their bonus points, and that will be Harrison Hassett. Oh, Harrison's not a name that we like here on this channel. But Harrison Hassett will score. Well, actually, at least you guys can slap into Harrison when he gets here, because he did say that he's going to be a Raiders fan this year. And it's not been a great game for him. But that all started from a massive run from Hohepa Peru to get through the line. Then he got off to Taj forward, then he got tripped up. And then they just went quickly, and it was just too easy for the try for Harrison Hassett. Great run there by, again, Hohepa Peru. Get the offload away, and he's been good. This is strong. This has been good. So it was Nivai Peru there with the latest run, but the big run came from Hohepa Peru. Adelaide isn't much different from the Mitchell. Mitchell said, Ben's saying well away from all the... Okay. 19 minutes to go here at the game. Brent says, Sharks need a plumbing company sponsor so they can get some drainage at the stadium. Yeah, stadium does flood a bit. Well, it's right on the mangroves. It's right there. Anyone who hasn't been to Sharky Park, it's literally developed on mangroves effectively. It literally is. Oh, Blitzy. He's back for another season of supporting the Parramatta Eels. That's why he's come at the end of this game, because the Roosters Eels game is about to start. He's back for another dabble with the Eels. They're not playing just yet, though. They will be here soon. There's a big storm coming. Look at the background there. Wow, there's a big storm coming for that Roosters Eels game. And they will punch the ball over, and it's 38-0. Could we see another team gone here? Could we see another team gone? They're using this as the drinks break right now. Well, why didn't they just use the drinks break when they were kicking? Why? Anyway. But it says Shark Park is the main attraction in the NRL, whole selling point. It's an interesting thing to say from a Parramatta Eels fan perspective there, Blissy. I would have thought you'd like CommBank better. But with that being said, I think that it's Saturday. It's 5:18 p.m. for you. It makes sense why you're this drunk. No, you've had probably a big day at the races. You come watch some footy. You've had plenty of tequila. You've had a couple of brewskis, and you're drunk as. And I get it with that kind of comment. And look, fair enough for you. Fair enough for you. Have many more. There's still 2 games to go after this, and then we've got the cricket later. But Blitz, I really do commend you for all the drinks you've had to be this drunk to say that Shark Park is the main attraction of the NRL. Commend you. Plenty down the slots, yeah, makes sense, Blitzy. Drive says Hayden has Eels second. Oh. It's better than first, but it is. I know, but it's better than him putting him in first, which is what he came to this channel to say, that he was putting the Eels in first. Jason says 10 more points my multi. I feel like you'll get that 10 points, Jason. I feel like you should, mate. 38-0, 19 minutes to go here. It's complete reserve grade teams now, but I think you should get your 10 points here, man. Oh, second, but he just is off his rocker, Hayden. Like, he's just off his rocker. Who did the Eels play the Storm in the first round? If they win that game and break the Storm hoodoo on round ones, I just tell you guys that Eels fans will think that they're not only winning the comp, but they're winning eternity. They've just won the whole of life. They've completed it. Just because they'll win round one. It'll be the most brain-damaging result in history. Did Hayden drop his predictions in round 10 of last year? Hayden drops his predictions pretty much weekly for the next 10 years. Your vlog of the Eels vs Broncos game back in 2019 final looks great, though. Not only because Broncos got smashed, but the atmosphere looked electrifying. CommBank Stadium is awesome for atmosphere. CommBank Stadium, Seabus and Allianz are very similar in regards to when it's pumping. It's absolutely pumping. Suncorp will always be the best atmosphere stadium in the NRL, but if it's not full, it can feel super empty. A core, if it's not full, it feels ridiculous. There's no point playing any games at a core unless it's the grand final, effectively, because you need it to sell out. A core, even when it sells out, can feel a bit awkward, but overall, Seabus, CommBank, and Allianz are very similar. And Amy Park in Melbourne, they're very similar parks for when it's on, it's on. I do feel like Storm, Amy Park is a little bit less, though, than CommBank, Seabus, and Allianz in terms of how it feels when the game is pumping. Like, Storm, Amy Park's still good, but I just wouldn't have it on that same level that CommBank, Seabus, and Allianz. Shark Park atmosphere is elite. That is an absolute lie, Blitzy. I used to love Sharky Park. I used to love it. That is an absolute lie. Francis, just check the radar and there will be a storm there. No storm tonight on Sunshine Coast. Beautiful skies. Very Titans-like. Very, very much a Titan stay up on the Sunshine Coast. But here, there's definitely going to be a storm, yeah. It's been really hot there today, apparently. Yeah, I'm not a fan of a core either, Daz, mate. Like, I was there for the James Tedesco try, 2019, State of Origin, and the atmosphere was good and it was great, but it still didn't hit. It still didn't hit like I've been at neutral grounds before, and I've been at atmospheres where my team's lost, and I still didn't feel that a core hit. With that being said, though, the Panthers-Broncos atmosphere at a core was absolutely electric. That was electric in that grand final in 2023. When I was there. Condor says the 8th one to Leichhardt Oval. Oh, for gosh sake, Condor, don't do this, man. Don't do this. Just take your first half positivity from last night and pop off, man. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. 16.5 minutes to go here from the game. I don't want to hear it. You know, we've already had to deal with Hayden from an Eels fan perspective saying they're going to come second and then win the comp. Now we've got Condor saying that Leichhardt's got the best atmosphere. We've got Blitzy saying that the Shark Park is the draw card of the NRL. You know, I don't know what to do, lads. It's not even the regular season yet. I'm already losing my mind here on these streams, you know. We've still got 3 more games of the preseason to go. 2 more today and 1 tomorrow. And I'm already losing my mind here on this channel. Shark Park being the draw card of the NRL has to be up there with one of the worst comments I've ever seen on this channel. Oh my gosh. Been 37 up Newey way, yeah. So the Sharks got this ball at 30. And they'll be taking down to 32. And now we've got Shark Park should have Magic Round. Yeah, that'll do me. If we ever get Shark Park getting a Magic Round, that'll be the same day that the Antarctican Penguins have gone 3 straight years in a row. The Antarctican Penguins would have won a grand final 62.5-0. Not 62-0, 62.5-0, and that will be their 10th straight premiership. If the Sharks get a magic round at Cronulla. It's the equivalent. Third tackle at the 42. Now fourth tackle, 35. Darren says he had Broncos 6th and Dolphins... Oh, for gosh sake, Dolphins 5th and then us 7th. Oh, there's the Sharkies. However, Peru has been unbelievable, by the way. However, Peru has been awesome. I'm so glad the Titans have signed in with how he's played today. He's been really good to watch. They kick it through. Sharks score another... Oh, no! Oh, an easy try has been bombed. It should have been a try. This is going to be a clear knock-on. I don't even know why we're looking at this. It's going to be a knock-on. He's bombed a try over the line here. Maybe a penalty try. They're saying, Sutton's saying here, that without the interference, he would have scored a try. He's onside, it's fine. And, yeah, he has been grabbed. This is going to be a penalty try. I think this is going to be a penalty try here. Jed Stewart is grabbed at the jersey. Is it enough, though? I think so, considering that Sutton was leaning with it. And... yeah, he's held it back. Grabs the jersey. It's a penalty try. It's weak, but it's a penalty try. Denies a fair shot of the ball. Like, common sense would tell you that did absolutely jack shit. But with that being said, this will be a penalty try. So it will be 4 points plus the kick. It won't be 8 points for people who are wondering in regards to the penalty try potential. He didn't actually score it. If he had have scored that, they would have potentially looked at being... No, I don't think they would have even called for that. They wouldn't have. It wouldn't have been an 8-point try. But because he didn't, that's why they've gone at him. What's worse, Hayden having Neil's second or Willie not having Panthers in the 8? Hayden having Neil's second. I know it's a big call. Hayden having Neil's second. Can we ban this Raiders jersey, seriously? And then he also put Titans 16th. I want to delete him off the existence. Only 8-point try of high contact. Yeah, I'm just trying to explain it for people. A lot of people don't know this, Jason. So when you say penalty try, some people just automatically assume, oh, they've got a 4 points plus the 2 points, and then they get a penalty for the 8. We don't usually ever see. And it's not necessarily just high contact. Sometimes it can be knees into the head or playing it with your feet, coming in, sliding with your feet like Billy Slater used to do kind of deal. It can also be that, but we never really see that. We spoke about this the other day, but not everybody understands the game in regards to those kind of rules. That's why you have to say it's not an 8-point try. Gerard says, am I overreacting because it's his team he's backing? Like, he genuinely believes they do. It's not even for the sake of it. And second, it is far from realistic and attainable for the Eels. Well, we had this conversation, Gerard. He came onto a cricket stream a couple of weeks back or last week, and he was sitting there and he was seriously telling us in the chat that he believes that the Eels are going to win the premiership this year. He genuinely believes the Eels are going to win the premiership this year. And I said, man, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to tell you I have positivity behind the Eels. I think they're going to be better this year. I do think that there's a good chance they could make the 8, provided Mitchell Moses is healthy. But if Moses gets injured, you're shit out of luck. You may as well just fold the club this year because Moses is so important to their team. And how does Jonah Pezzett work with their team? Does Jonah Pezzett on a loan care enough about the Eels? And does he work with Mitchell Moses well? You know, a good game against the Sharks last week, but like, who cares? It's a preseason game where the Sharkies didn't even play anybody really. Literally didn't play anybody. And, I had to sit here and say, like, I have positivity in your team. Don't get me wrong. I think the Eels could do better, but to say you're going to win the comp is just disgraceful. But he said, and he was being serious. It wasn't like just a banter thing. He is being serious. He takes what his predictions are very seriously. Compared to me, when you see my predictions on Monday, I believe in what I'm saying, but I'm not going to lose sleep if I get my predictions wrong. Because at the end of the day, we all know that it's all just an educated guess, and realistically, we all know jack shit. So Raiders will get this ball at 10. They'll bring it out to the 15 and the 20. I won't lose sleep if I predict the Raiders to come 7th or Raiders come 9th and they come 1st, or if I predict the Raiders to come 1st and they come 9th. I won't lose sleep over it because I would have believed in what I was saying at the time. He does lose sleep over his predictions, so he's being serious when he says he thinks the Eels will win the comp. Third tackle now for the Raiders, and they're at the 45. Dane Laurie rolls it back, and 6 again. First tackle for Canberra, 50 metres away. I recall that Blazey mentioned something about Eels beating the Broncos and going close to beating the Storms. That's why somehow they'll be good in 2026. Yeah, he's just only basing it off of the dead rounds in round 20 to 27 last year when their season was over and they had nothing to play for, so they could just play freely. And they played well. They did. They played well. But I do have confidence that they'll be a lot better of a team this year than last year, provided Moses is healthy. So 20 metres away from the line, fourth tackle. Here come the Raiders. Flick off, True. No, he's out. Oh, Jed Stewart goes up, and I thought he was going to score, but that's great defence from Cronulla. That's unbelievable defence for Cronulla. With 12 minutes to go here, the game is well and truly done. And Riley Jones, here he comes. Oh, is that Peru again? Is that Peru again? No, that was Nivai Peru. Nivai Peru there with a fantastic tackle. Toast rivals us up the Eels. Yeah, well, good luck, man. Again, I've got positivity. I don't think you win the comp like a delusional entertainer house, but I have positivity behind the Eels. We'll talk all things Eels in the next stream when the Eels play the Roosters in about half an hour's time. But winning the comp is crazy. I can see entertainer house is an idiot. We love him, but he's an idiot. Third tackle now at the 40. What do you think the Bunnings will finish this season? Jason, on Monday, I have a full season prediction video coming out. That'll come out 5 p.m. New South Wales time, 4 p.m. Queensland time, and 7 p.m. for everyone in New Zealand. So that'll come out. So I'll leave for that. But I do think they're a similar team with the Eels where they can really rise for sure. Rabbitohs do look good, but their halves are a concern. Their halves are a massive concern. Good kick from Nivai Peru, and he'll come and smack Jed Stewart down to 15. 10 minutes to go here of the game, folks. The Sharkies are going to win and all their bonus points. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. With this, though, they lost by 40 odd last week to the Eels, and now they're going to win by 44, maybe 50 in this one. So the Sharks would go to... Currently speaking, I think they're still in the negatives. What were they? They were minus 34. No, so they would be plus 10. Plus 10. So currently they would be sitting in 8th position behind the Titans. They score again. They go above the Titans. They'd be in 7th. The Raiders have actually dropped down. So they would be in 7th. The Raiders have dropped down to 8th. Because they're in the negatives, yeah. Sharks in 7th. Well, the Titans went up a spot. So no matter what, we'll finish above the Raiders now. Beautiful. We'll say that. They says, well, geez, this was slightly one-sided. Yeah, but the Sharks played a much stronger team than the Raiders. No, there was no Tarpany. There was no Matty Tomoko. There was no Hudson Young. There was no Ethan Strange. There was no Ethan Sanders or Kobe Black. There was no KO Weeks. You know, the whole team, but he didn't really play. Josh Papali'i wasn't he? All their biggest boppers didn't play. Some big boppers played. All their biggest boppers didn't play. Talakai, 4th tackle now at the 30. Ben says, I probably wouldn't say my Cowboys would be first, though. Oh, no. No, we're not bringing Cowboys into the conversation. Don't stop it. No, stop it. We can't do this. Ben, I refuse. I refuse that you're bringing the Cowboys into a conversation about the top of the table right now. I don't believe it. I refuse. I refuse. And that is going to be a penalty here to who? Who's he called a penalty for? A penalty to the Sharks? No, it's against the Sharks. Unnecessary push at the 40, so the Raiders will get a penalty. That was weird. Where? Oh, okay, yeah, it is unnecessary push in the back at the 40. That is definitely a penalty. Raiders might not make the 8 after this. Oh, don't start, Logan. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. You know what's funny? I'm seeing a lot of people tip the Dogs out of the 8 right now. I am seeing a trajectory. I've seen the massive push of the common consensus of Manly Spoon, so I'll be sticking well away from that because the common consensus is always wrong. It's always wrong. Every year they put Raiders in last or whatever. Always wrong. So I'm going to stick as far away from Manly last as possible because common consensus is always wrong. But the Dogs are currently having quite a low ranking there. It's not like a common consensus, but people are really debating between 6th and 10th is what the overall debate is right now. Raiders now 5 metres out from the line, 4th tackle. 4th tackle. Raiders will get a try. Canberra, number 20, under the post. Try time for Sean Packer. And they won't keep him to 0, but they will get a comprehensive victory regardless. It's 44-4, where the kick to come from right in front. So the Sharks are going to beat the Raiders today by pretty much what they lost to the Eels last week. Pretty much. Jason says, what about the 74-0 win over the Tigers? What? What? What are you saying? Okay, sure, that happened. What? What is that? What does that even mean? Sure, that happened. What, 2 years ago? What does that have to do with anything right now? I'm not too sure. I don't understand. Manly can't win the spoon when Newcastle have already reserved it for this year. Newcastle didn't look good, man, but you know, I will wait 5 to 7 rounds in. You know, you never buy into preseason. Never buy into it. You know, people use last year's Broncos preseason win as a way to care about the preseason game because they went and won the comp. If the team who wins the preseason this year goes and wins the comp again, then I'll buy into it. But for the time being, there's only been one team who has won the preseason who has actually made the top 8, and that was the Broncos last year. Dragons are always tipped for the spoon every next season. A lot like bottom 2, they won't be great, but they surely should escape bottom 4 at least. Not necessarily. You would have thought that last year. They still came 3rd last and only finished 2 points ahead of the Titans and Knights. Or 4 points, maybe. Still came 3rd last. 44-6 with 6 minutes to go here. Jaden says, NRL teams treating the World Club Challenge as a holiday. Yeah, but I think the Broncos wanted to win it, man. I do. I think they wanted to win it. It's just that competition is really... I don't want to piss off the English fans here, but like it really is catered to making it as equal as possible and more of an advantage to England because, one, it's the first game of rugby league they've played this year in 2026 for an NRL team. They're travelling over and it's super cold. They're in enemy territory. They're across the other side of the world. Well, that's why I really respect St. Helens for what they did. Because to beat the Panthers didn't give a shit, and that's the difference. I think the Broncos did care, but the Panthers didn't give a shit when they played St. Helens. That's why I was really impressed that St. Helens came over and beat the Panthers, right? But when it's catered the opposite way and it's over there, I just feel like there is a lot of... It's so much more difficult than people believe in regards to England. Again, on a 27-round season, I don't think the English teams even get a sniff really at the top 8. But in an exhibition match like that, in the preseason, I think that they've got a really good chance, and it is really catered towards making it as competitive as possible. Jason says, sorry, wrong channel. Well, I don't know, because we'll talk about the Cowboys just before, but I'm just confused about why the 74-0 got brought up. Because like, I could bring up the 66-18, but with the Tigers, with that being said, that happened a couple of years ago. That happened a couple of years ago. I know, Flanagan being the last one to win the World Cup Challenge is wild, Jason. That's just ridiculous. 4th tackle with the Sharks at the 45. Can they hit the Vidi bomb? Should be 1 year in Oz, 1 year in England. I agree with that. I think they are trying to do that. This year was in England. The previous one was in Penrith. The only reason there wasn't a World Club Challenge last year was because Penrith was in Vegas. Gaz says, g'day everyone. This one's a little one-sided. Yeah, it is, but the Raiders didn't play many players and the Sharks played pretty much everybody. That's a knock-on. No, it's going to be a penalty here against Hazleton. I don't think the Sharks are getting 50 bomb. Jay, what time do we start up for the next stream? Is it in 15 minutes time or is it in 20 minutes time? So we should be worried about Bronx, you reckon, after that? No. Down 34 at one point. What did they do last year? Look at all their games. What were they down to the Raiders? What were they down to the Storm? What were they down to the Panthers at halftime? All 3 of their finals games. What were they down by at halftime? 14 points to the Panthers. I think 10 points to 14 points against the Storm, the grand final. And like 18 points against the Raiders? Same old. It's a penalty here to the Sharks. If the NRL buys out the Super League, they'll change it up, I reckon. I think that if the NRL buys the Super League, you will see what we saw about 6-7 years ago prior to COVID, you saw three teams play each other, as in 3 teams from the NRL played 3 teams of the Super League. One of those games would be the World Club Challenge, with the winner versus the winner, and then the other one was 2 teams and 2 teams, right? So like you'd get Roosters playing St. Helens, and then you'd get, or Leeds. You get Roosters playing Leeds, and then you'd have the Broncos playing St. Helens, and you'd have the Storm play, who's another one? Hull KR. And that's what they did like 6, 7, 8 years ago, just before COVID happened. Out to the left, 10 metres out. That would be probably what their intention is to do. They will score another try here, the Sharkies. They will score another try. Number 24 for Cronulla. I think it's Michael Gabriel. They will call it a try. I was just waiting. It is Michael Gabriel as well. Michael Gabriel will score the try. It's 48-6, and there's a chance of a footy bomb. Get ready to drop the gear, son. If they get the kick from the sideline here. I know the Sharkies love their little magic fingers here. 17 minutes. Thank you, Mitchell. I know they love the little magic fingers. This is what they do with the kick. Can they get a footy bomb? Put the fingers out. Put it out. Yeah, Blaze was a hectic run. Most memorable for sure, but surely they can't sustain it in 2026. Won't work against Panthers, Sharks and Roosters, sure, but that's all just assumptions and your hopes really as well right now. And also, hold on in regards to using it with the Sharks. Hold on in regards to the Sharkies. You know that's a bold call to put them into the same. Nate says, yeah, that was mad. I remember in the 90s they used to bring a couple of Super League teams over mid-season. Jade, is there any chance of a Raiders comeback? Yeah, mate, it's on its way. They're only going to score about 10 tries in 2 minutes and 17 seconds, but it's on. We've still got the fingers going here. I want to do the dance. I want to do the footy bomb dance. Come on. I want to do the footy bomb dance. Come on. You better not blue ball us here, Sharks. Spirit fingers. Exactly right. This is actually really hurting my hands now. Can you just kick the ball already? I'm feeling like what's it when you can't stop moving your hands? I'm feeling like I've got problems. Right? I do have problems, to be fair, but I feel like I've got a lot of problems in regards to how hard this is actually becoming to do. Can you just kick the damn well ball, Nivai Peru? Kick the damn well ball, mate. And don't forget, 15 minutes time, guys, we'll be live for Roosters versus the Eels, and then right after that we'll be live for Storm versus the Titans. Duaz, you really want to get on this conversation? 48-6 for the Sharks, a minute and a half to go. Come on. Parkinson's, that's the one, Jay. Here we go. Here we go. Don't blue ball us, Nivai Peru. Don't blue ball us. He will. Oh, he's a cat. He's a cat. After all that work, after all that diabolical work, he's a cat and he's missed the kick. You are shitting me. What a piss take. What a piss take. That is unbelievable. After all that time, doing a workout with my fingers, doing a workout with my arms, waiting for the fitty bomb, and they're going to blue ball us like that. That's it. That is it, Sharks. I'm taking you out of my top 8 for next year because of that. Yeah, rip up his contract. Surprise Cleary's been suspended 2 games, so he'll be given the better treatment by the league. I think that was the right call, though. I just hope they change the rules in regards to him being ineligible for the Dally M now. I really hope they adjust the rules because I don't think it's fair that he's ineligible for the Dally M based on the preseason. So for second tackle here for the Sharks at the 40. Hazelton gives it off, and now they'll be at the 50. Third tackle. Wow, you need the Sharks to do something they don't deliver. What a shame. Yeah, Lagan, definitely not something that we would have expected. Definitely never something you'd expect the Sharks to promise a lot and deliver a little. 4 tackle penalty. Go for the 2 from the 40. Go for the 2. No, they're going to go for the quick run. Go for a 2-point field goal, you cats. Sharks offload. Here we go. There's a chance still. 23 seconds. 2 points away from the fitty bomb. Hit that like button and subscribe. Sharkies. 25 out. Come on, a fitty bomb. Come on, a fitty bomb. Come on, a fitty bomb. Talakai gives it out to the wing. They're 5 metres out. There's 9 seconds left here. Oh, they got one last chance. They got one last chance here for the fitty bomb. Get up. Play the ball. 2 seconds. Last go at it now. Last go at it. That's played out by the Raiders. It's going to come back to Hazelton at the 25. And he'll run it. And Sharks will... They're going to throw the ball back onto the inside. Raiders knock it back. And they're going to blue ball us. Yeah, that's it. Kick them from the comp. Kick him out of the comp. Anyway, final score 48-60 to the Sharks. Very good performance by them. Raiders didn't play their full-strength team by any means, but a great performance from However Peru off the bench there for the Sharkies was good. Billy Burns was solid. Nikora was solid. Nico Hines was great. Trindle did his job. Overall, this was a good performance from the Sharks in that first half, and overall, they've just cleaned up. They'll get all 15 bonus points. They'll win by 42 points, which will take them above the Raiders into 7th. The Titans will push up into 6th now, and now we just have to wait and see what the Eels do against the Roosters. But guys, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. I'll be back in literally 10 minutes time for the second game of the day. See you then. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.